I was staring into this massive crater, and this woman in green climbed out of it like some kind of graceful butterfly. And look, I'll be honest, she was gorgeous. Perfect skin, fierce eyes, blood on her lips making her look like some tragic painting come to life. My brain just kind of stopped working for a second. Then I remembered. Oh right, giant monster trying to kill everyone. Green wolf, run, I screamed at my wolf companion. This beast just smacked around a Martial King level fighter like a toy. What am I gonna do? Flex at it? But nope, too late. The beast opened its mouth and unleashed this massive dragon breath attack straight at the woman. And guess who was standing only 10 meters away? Me. Just an innocent bystander getting caught in the crossfire. You dare, beast? The woman flipped her hand and pulled out this tiny little shield. She tossed it into the air, and the thing grew into this enormous bronze wall. The dragon breath slammed into it, and boom. Even bigger explosion than before. Fire and shockwaves everywhere. I threw everything I had into my tyrant body technique, golden light covering my skin, and then darkness. I don't know how long I was out. I woke up buried in dirt, clawed my way out, looked around, and everything was just scorched earth. Trees turned to ash. The woman and the beast. Gone. Vanished. OWWW. I tried to stand up and nearly blacked out again. My clothes were completely burned off. My chest armor was cracked and totally ruined. I had cuts running from my head all the way down to my feet. I looked like a zombie crawling out of a grave. This was by far the worst injury I'd taken since coming to this world. If I hadn't trained the tyrant body technique, if I didn't have beast fire in me, if I didn't have that armor, I'd be dead right now. No question. Green wolf. Green wolf. I screamed until my throat was raw. Nothing. No response. No howl. No bark. Nothing. Then I saw it. Glowing attribute, orb sitting on the ground. My heart dropped. No. No, no, no. My eyes blurred with tears. I knelt down slowly, carefully brushing away the dirt with shaking hands. And there it was, a patch of singed fur. Green wolf's fur. That was his body. We'd been together every single day. He was my partner, my best friend in this world. And now he was just gone, separated by life and death, just like that. It felt like something grabbed my heart and squeezed. I couldn't breathe. I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms. Green wolf, I will avenge you. I swear it. I didn't pick up those attribute orbs. I just sat there on the ground and watched them slowly fade away right in front of me. Green wolf, I gotta go now. I stumbled to my feet and started using my magic sword as a walking stick. Yeah, that's how bad things were. A perfectly good weapon, reduced to a crutch. The good news? All the monsters in the area ran away because of that insane battle between the woman and the giant beast. The bad news? I kept spotting rare spiritual herbs and flowers along the way and couldn't pick any of them. My body was wrecked, and if a monster came back, I'd be dinner. After dragging myself along for half an hour, I finally found the perfect hiding spot. A cave behind a waterfall that I discovered yesterday while catching fish. Thank you, past me, for being hungry. Ugh, if only I'd made those cultivation restoration pills in time, I groaned. Those pills were exactly what I needed right now. They heal internal injuries and boost spiritual energy. I'd already collected all the ingredients in the deep forest, but I never got around to actually making them. I pulled out my alchemy furnace, tried to summon my fire power, and nope. My injuries were so bad, I couldn't even move my spiritual energy. Couldn't use my flame at all. Are you kidding me? I can't even make pills like this? I was panicking hard. I couldn't just walk out of Sunset Forest in this condition. Some random beast would eat me before I made it halfway. Then it hit me. Wait, my level up healing. Every time I advance a rank, all my injuries heal instantly. I checked my system panel. I needed 18 more experience points to reach 10-star warrior. The only cultivation pills I had left were chi gathering pills, and those barely do anything at my level. I dumped out my whole stash, 63 pills total, all looted from Zhu Meng's gang. Not enough, but whatever. Desperate times, I opened wide and poured an entire bottle straight down my throat like candy. At first, 3 pills gave me 1 experience point. Then it took 5 pills for 1 measly point. The efficiency was dropping like crazy. By the time I swallowed every last pill, I was still 5 points short. Seriously? You're gonna do this to me? 5 points. Just 5. I wanted to cry. Everything was gone. No more pills. Nothing. Then, wait. Spirit stones. How did I forget about spirit stones? I'd been so focused on pills that I completely forgot the most basic thing. Spirit stones are literally just condensed spiritual energy. Warriors use them as money, but you can also absorb them directly for cultivation. It's slower than pills, which is why I never bothered before. And guess what? I had hundreds of them, all sitting in my storage bag from looting Zhu Meng. I sat down cross-legged, grabbed a spirit stone, and started absorbing. Thanks to my tyrant body training, my energy channels were way wider than normal, so I was sucking up spirit stones way faster than most people. Finished one in just a few minutes. It's working. It's small, but it's working. When all roads seem blocked, there's always a hidden path through the village. Ha! I grabbed another stone and kept going. Spirit stones kept appearing in my hands and crumbling to dust one after another. Pretty soon there was a nice little pile of stone powder between my knees. Then, crack, something inside my body shattered like an eggshell. White light flashed across my whole body, and just like that, every single wound vanished. If it weren't for the dried blood still stuck to my skin, you'd never believe I was half dead 5 minutes ago. Phew. Took over 50 spirit stones in half the day, but I finally made it to 10-star warrior. I checked my stats. Host, Cloud Ting. Rank, 10-star warrior. Strength, 123. Speed, 115. Skill points, 136. All my martial techniques maxed out, alchemy maxed out. Looking good. I tested my fire, summoned red flame into my palm, and yep, working perfectly again. So I spent the whole night making pills, just to be safe. And the cool thing about getting stronger? I barely need sleep anymore. Pulled an all-nighter making medicine, and still felt totally fresh by morning. Alright, lost a whole day. Time to head back. I splashed some waterfall water on my face and left. Half a day later, I was back at the Cloud Inn in White Moon City, sitting in front of a table full of food. Oh man, after days of nothing but grilled fish and roasted meat in that forest, this was heaven. I had a wine jug in one hand, some mystery monster leg in the other, and I was going to town on it. But while I was stuffing my face, the guys at the table behind me were having a very interesting conversation. You hear the news? The Wang family is basically done for. Hear about it? I saw the fight yesterday. Wait, what? How did the Wang and Li family start fighting? I stopped chewing and tuned in real hard. So here's what happened. After I saved Wang Guan that day, he went straight home and told his elders everything, including how I rescued him and killed the Li family's grand elder, and how the Li elders had mysteriously powered up. The Wang family was furious. Their #1 genius got ambushed with such dirty tactics. Most of the elders wanted to march straight to the Li family and demand answers. But Wang Guan's father, Wang Tianqi, the family head, stopped them. He figured if both Li elders got power boosts, then the Li family patriarch Li Mo probably reached 9-star warrior too. And if that was the case, Wang Tianqi might not be able to beat him. Smart man. Check the enemy's strength before doing anything rash. But before the Wang family could make their move, the Li family showed up at their door first. Turns out the Li's second elder escaped that day using a teleportation talisman and told Li Mo everything, including that I was the killer. Li Mo assumed I was a Wang family member. His son dead, his grand elder dead, all because of me. So he grabbed a bunch of elders and stormed over to the Wang family demanding they hand me over. Wang Tianqi knew I saved his son's life. Even if the Wang family did have someone named Cloud Ting, which they didn't, there was no way he'd hand over his kid's savior. First meeting ended with both sides walking away angry, but holding back. Wang Tianqi confirmed Li Mo really was 9-star now, so he didn't want to fight. Li Mo didn't bring enough people and didn't want to fight on Wang family turf after already losing a grand elder. But over the next 2 days, things got ugly. The Li family attacked Wang family medicine shops and restaurants. The Wang family hit back at Li family pawn shops and gambling dens. Both sides were at boiling point. Then yesterday night, the Wang family's 4th elder got assassinated on his way home. He managed to drag himself back and told everyone it was the Li's 2nd elder who did it, then died. I sat there chewing my monster leg, thinking, wow, all this chaos, and it's basically because of me. I killed Li Feng, I killed the grand elder, and now 2 entire families are at war. That's a lot of collateral damage. The guys behind me kept talking, and it just got worse. Turns out Wang Tianqi took his elders and best fighters and marched straight to the Li family. But it was a trap. The Li family ambushed them on the way there. The Wang family got destroyed, lost most of their elite fighters, second elder and fifth elder killed on the spot, and the grand elder got badly injured trying to save Wang Tianqi. They barely made it home alive. The Li family gave an ultimatum. Hand over the people or they'll massacre the entire Wang family. Hand over who? Young Master Wang Guan, obviously. And I heard there's another person they want too, something Ting or whatever. My chopsticks froze midair. Something Ting? That's me they're talking about. Buffed. It's just an excuse anyway. They're demanding the Wang family's heir. No family would agree to that. That's why I'm saying the Wang family is finished. I slapped a gold piece on the table. Waiter, check please. And I was out of there. I headed straight to the Wang family compound. The place that used to be lively and bustling was now dead quiet. Everyone looked miserable. Some of the servants were secretly packing their bags to run away. Inside the elder hall, nobody was speaking. Wang Tianqi sat at the head with his eyes closed. The injured grand elder was being held up in his chair, coughing every few seconds. Maybe. Just hand me over. Perhaps they'll. Wang Guan started. Enough. His father cut him off immediately. You think handing you over would save us? Don't be naive. The Li family has been scheming against us for a long time. Even if Li Feng and their grand elder hadn't been killed, they would have found another excuse. The grand elder coughed and agreed. The family head is right. Once the balance of power between families is broken, conflict is inevitable. The Li family got stronger for some unknown reason. Even their patriarch became a 9-star warrior. We're the weaker side now, so they were always going to come for us. Sure, that all makes sense, the third elder said anxiously. But what do we do about today? They're coming to wipe us out. Wang Tianqi thought for a moment. Third elder, take my son, the women, the children, and the younger generation. Get them out of here. If we survive this, bring them back. If we all die here, at least the Wang family bloodline continues. Father, I'm not leaving, Wang Guan shouted. I'm a 6-star warrior. I can fight just as well as any elder. How can I run away when our family faces destruction? Wang Tianqi slammed the table. Fool, that's exactly why you need to go. You're the most talented person in this generation. As long as the mountain stands, you'll never run out of firewood. If we all die, you can lead the survivors, rebuild, and one day avenge us. Father, no more arguments. As family head, I order you, leave White Moon City with the third elder. Now, right then, a guard burst in. Report. The Li family. The Li family is here. What? Already? They really want to exterminate us down to the last person. The grand elder nearly choked. The whole hall exploded into panic. What do we do? The women and children haven't even left yet. Plans can't keep up with reality. Silence. Wang Tianqi stood up, voice booming like a bell. There's no retreat and no reason to fear. Everyone, follow me outside. We fight. He knew that if he couldn't hold everyone together right now, the whole family would crumble from the inside before the Li family even swung a sword. Outside the Wang family gates, the Li family had them completely surrounded. Rows and rows of armed fighters in matching uniforms, every single one of them looking like hungry wolves ready to tear their prey apart. The Li family had brought everything they had. At the front stood Li Mo, the Li family patriarch, 9-star warrior. Behind him was the former second elder, now promoted to grand elder after I killed the last one, 7-star warrior. Behind them, every other elder and officer the Li family could muster. Wang Tianqi, get out here. Hand over Wang Guan and the brat who killed my son, or today we flatten the Wang family, Li Mo roared. Wang Tianqi walked out with his people, standing tall despite everything. Li Mo, you've gone too far. Right and wrong. You know the truth yourself. You want my son? Never. You want to fight? Then let's fight. The Wang family has no cowards, and there I was, watching all this unfold, thinking, this entire war is basically my fault, and both sides want my head. Good, good, good. Li Mo laughed like a villain in a bad play, his face dark as a thunderstorm. He pointed at Wang Tianqi with this terrifying look. I thought you'd be smart about this, but you just don't know what's good for you. Fine then. From today, there will be no more Wang family in White Moon City. And just like that, the battle started. Li Mo gave the order, and his fighters charged in. The Wang family met them head-on, everyone finding their own opponent. Here's the thing. Before all this mess, the two families were actually pretty evenly matched. I mean, I killed the Li family's Grand Elder and their Fifth Elder, so the Wang family actually had the edge in mid-level fighters. But then the Li family assassinated the Wang Fourth Elder, ambushed and killed the Second and Fifth Elders, and badly hurt the Grand Elder. Now the Wang family only had 3 6-star fighters left: Third Elder, Sixth Elder, and Wang Guan. The injured Grand Elder could maybe hold off one more, but barely. For against who knows how many. Wang Guan stepped up to fight the Li's Second Elder again. They'd clashed before, so he could at least hold him off for a while. Both sides went all out from the very first second. Swords clashing, fists flying, total chaos. People started dropping almost immediately. Wang Tianqi stood at the front gate like a mountain, staring down Li Mo. Neither of them had moved yet. Just standing there, the air between them practically frozen solid. Two family heads, locked in a stare-down. Then things fell apart fast. The Wang Grand Elder's injuries flared up mid-fight, and he got smashed by the Li Third Elder. Coughed up blood, collapsed, and couldn't get back up. Two Wang family fighters threw themselves in front of him just to keep him from getting finished off right there. With the Grand Elder down, the Li Third Elder was free. He went on a rampage, cutting through Wang family low-rank fighters like they were nothing. Wang Guan heard the screams and lost focus for just 1 second, and the Li's Second Elder pounced on it, knocked his spear aside, and sent him flying with a palm strike. Damn it! Wang Tianqi grabbed his spear and tried to rush over to help his son, but Li Mo blocked his path with a sword. Get out of my way, Li Mo! Ha ha ha! Wang Tianqi, today I'm going to make you watch your son die right in front of your eyes. Wang Tianqi glanced at Wang Guan and knew the Wang family was losing. Bad. He and his son might both die here today. He couldn't save Wang Guan unless he beat Li Mo first. Li Mo, even if I die today, I'm taking you with me. He lunged forward with his spear, unleashing his Fire Dragon spear technique. Li Mo's eyes sharpened. He raised his sword and countered with his family's signature move, the Breeze sword style. When Li Feng used this technique against me, it was child's play. But coming from Li Mo, completely different level. Light and graceful, but hiding deadly killing intent in every swing. These two had been rivals since they were young. Grew up competing, eventually both became family heads, and never stopped fighting each other. They knew each other's moves inside and out. Every little twitch, every eye movement, they could read it all. They used to be equals. Wang Tianqi even had a slight edge because of his spear's reach. But Li Mo had taken that spirit rush pill and jumped to 9-star. The gap was obvious now. After just a few exchanges, Li Mo slapped Wang Tianqi back with one palm. Wang Tianqi's arms were shaking, sweat soaking through his back, gasping for air. Meanwhile, Li Mo looked like he'd just been doing a light warm-up. Hey Wang family head, maybe look at your son? Ha 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 ha. The Li's Second Elder's voice rang across the entire battlefield. Wang Guan was on his knees, energy sealed, held down by two Li fighters, with a steel sword pressed against his throat. Drop your spear. Kneel. Surrender. Maybe I'll spare his life. The Second Elder grinned like a snake. Father, don't. They'll never let us go. Don't believe a word they say. Wang Guan screamed, tears in his eyes. He knew it too. This might be the end of the Wang family. I know, son. Wang Tianqi closed his eyes, took one deep breath. Then his eyes snapped open, and he made his choice. Instead of surrendering, instead of going back to fight Li Mo, he turned and charged into the crowd of fighters. His spear punched straight through the Li's Sixth Elder, who was fighting the Wang Third Elder. Before Li Mo could even react, Wang Tianqi spun around and took out a 5-star Li family fighter with one thrust. A top-level warrior going berserk against low-rank enemies. The result was a massacre. Li family fighters started dropping left and right. If he couldn't save his son, he'd take as many of them with him as possible. Wang Tianqi, how dare you? Li Mo couldn't believe it. Wang Tianqi had gone full berserker mode on the low-rank fighters. Clearly a man who'd accepted death and wanted to take as many enemies down as possible. By the time Li Mo snapped out of it, Wang Tianqi had already killed over a dozen people. Li Mo tried to rush in and stop him, but the Wang family's low-rank warriors surrounded him like a wall. One dies, another takes his place. Li Mo was panicking. Yeah, these small fry couldn't hurt him, but they could slow him down. For every one he killed, Wang Tianqi killed one of his people. At this rate, Sure, the Wang family would be wiped out, but the Li family would lose more than half their people too. It was a brilliant move. Pure, unstoppable strategy right in your face. What good is winning if you've got nobody left to run your family? Wang Tianqi kept going like a man possessed. Took out the Li fourth elder. Got stabbed multiple times and didn't even flinch. His one goal was clear. If the Wang family goes down today, the Li family goes down with them. Wang Tianqi, stop or I kill your son right now. The second elder screamed. Wang Tianqi didn't even look. He'd already made peace with death. Fine then. Wang Guan, die. The second elder raised his sword to chop Wang Guan's head off. Clang. Something smashed into his sword with insane force. Nearly ripped the weapon right out of his hands. Ooh, he spun around frantically. Second elder. It's only been a few days, and you already forgot about me. That was MYQ. I walked out of the crowd of spectators nice and slow. I flicked my fingers casually, and the two guys holding Wang Guan got blasted away by invisible force. The second elder looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. He remembered exactly what I did to their grand elder, so he didn't dare come closer. Brother Wang, you okay? I walked over, tapped Wang Guan's sealed energy points to unlock them, and helped him up. I'm fine. Thank you, Brother Cloud. That's twice you've saved my life now. Please, help my father too. He bowed desperately. I looked over. Li Mo had broken through the wall of warriors and caught up to Wang Tianqi. He was going all out now, no more playing around, and Wang Tianqi was covered in fresh wounds. A few more seconds and he'd be finished. All right, stay back. I got this. The second elder knew he couldn't beat me, so the moment Wang Guan was free, he grabbed his people and retreated behind Li Mo. Both sides pulled back, and the two family heads separated. Second elder, what happened? Li Mo demanded. Family head, that kid is Cloud Ting. He's the one who killed young master and the grand elder. The second elder was practically shaking. What? This is the brat. Li Mo glared at me with pure murder in his eyes. Kid, heaven gave you a road, and you refused to walk it. Hell had no door, but you came knocking anyway. I couldn't find you, and now you show up on your own? Perfect. Today I'll deal with you and the Wang family together. Oh, I'm so scared, I said with a big smile. Not scared at all, obviously. Young brother Cloud, Li Mo is a 9-star warrior. You can't beat him alone. Let's fight him together. Maybe we'll have a chance. Wang Tianqi figured I was a 6-star with 8-star power based on what his son told him. I just smiled and nodded. I mean, should I tell him I'm already a 10-star warrior with power matching a martial spirit level expert? Nah, nobody would believe that. I pulled out my magic sword and got ready. Li Mo's eyes nearly popped out of his skull when he saw the sword. That's the sword I gave my son. You took his weapon after you killed him? Today I'll chop you into 10,000 pieces and use your head as an offering. He exploded forward like a raging lion, unleashing the breeze sword style. When his son Li Feng used this move on me, it was a joke. When Li Mo used it, the sword energy hit like a hurricane, reaching me before the blade even got close. Young brother Cloud, be careful. Wang Tianqi tried to jump in, then froze, because I used the exact same breeze sword style right back at him. How do you know my family's sword technique? Li Mo was shocked. Here's the fun part. I never learned their special internal technique that's supposed to make this sword style work at full power. And yet MY version was stronger than his. Even Li Mo's own breeze sword couldn't match mine. Dead men don't need answers. I let my full power loose. 10-star warrior, 0 holding back. The shockwave of energy rolling off me was absolutely terrifying. Then I pointed 2 fingers forward, Mystic Pulse Finger. A beam of concentrated energy shot at Li Mo like lightning. He panicked, but managed to catch it with both palms, pouring everything he had into blocking. He stopped it, barely. His hands were shaking like crazy. He wanted to run. Smart instinct. But before he could move, I was already behind him. He sensed the danger and twisted his body, but too slow. My attack punched through his chest armor, went straight through his body, and came out the back. He stumbled 2 steps backward. I was faster, already behind him again. One sword across the throat. You're a 10-star warrior. Blood poured from his mouth. And Li Mo collapsed into a pool of his own blood. Everyone just stood there with their jaws on the floor. 1 second we were talking about a 2-on-1 strategy, and the next second Li Mo was already dead on the ground. Nobody saw that coming. What are you standing around for? Kill them. I shouted at Wang Tianqi, who was still frozen like a statue. That snapped him out of it real quick. I flashed forward into the Li family crowd like lightning, locked onto the second elder immediately. He saw me coming and tried to block, too slow. One casual strike, and he was on the ground. Before he could even get up, I pointed my finger, Mystic Pulse Finger. White light shot straight through his skull. Done. The guy who escaped from me last time with that teleportation talisman? Not escaping today. The Wang family finally jumped back into the fight, pinning down the Li fighters while Wang Tianqi and I carved through them like hot knives through butter. In just a few minutes, every single Li family warrior on that battlefield was dead. Now here's the thing. The ground was covered in glowing attribute orbs, and I was practically drooling. But I couldn't just start grabbing them with everyone watching. That would look insane. So I came up with a brilliant plan. Family Head Wang. Now is the perfect time to finish off the Li family for good. You're right. We must pull them out by the roots. Will you come with us, young Master Cloud? Oh no. I used up most of my spiritual energy. I need to rest and recover first. You go ahead. I put on my best tired and exhausted face. Very well. Rest at our estate. This small task is ours to handle. Wang Guan, third elder, with me, and off they went. The second they were out of sight, I noticed some of the attribute orbs were already fading. No. I scrambled around like a madman, scooping up every orb I could find, bending down, running between corpses, grabbing. The few Wang family members left behind just thought I was, I don't know, paying respects, checking bodies. They were busy collecting their own dead, so nobody really questioned it. Huge haul. Absolutely massive. Didn't even stop to count. Then I went over to Li Mo's body, fished out his storage bag, and stuffed it in my pocket. I killed him, so the loot is mine. That's fair, right? Yeah, definitely fair. Check the second elder next. No storage bag. Guess those things really are rare in White Moon City. But I found some pill bottles and... Wait, a talisman. I unfolded it, and... Is this a teleportation talisman? This was the exact thing that let him escape last time. Good thing I killed him so fast he never got to use it. This little piece of paper could literally save my life someday. This whole fight was basically a jackpot. But forget looting. There were more attribute orbs waiting at the Li family estate. I bolted across the city. Li family was on the east side, Wang family on the west, but I was way faster than Wang Tianqi's group. By the time they were just breaking down the front gate, I was already there. The Li family had sent basically all their fighters to attack the Wangs, so there was almost nobody left. 1 6-star, a few 5 stars, and a bunch of low-level warriors plus women, children, and old folks. No contest. Wang Tianqi's people swept through them in seconds. Then I watched as the Wang family started killing the women and children too. My stomach twisted. Back on Earth, this would be. I was about to step forward and stop it when Wang Guan beat me to it. Stop. They're just women and children. Let them go, he begged. Wang Tianqi looked at his son with a complicated expression. Son, your kindness makes me proud. But you need to understand, what kind of world is this? He pointed at the surviving children. Look at their eyes. What do you see? Wang Guan turned and looked. Fear, terror, and most importantly, hatred. If we let them go today, maybe one day it's our family getting exterminated. As a father, I'm glad you have a merciful heart. But as a family head, I cannot allow mercy toward enemies. If Cloud Ting hadn't shown up today, it would be our women and children standing there like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Would the Li family have spared them? Wang Guan couldn't say a word. He knew his father was right, but he couldn't accept it. I stood behind them, listening to everything, keeping my mouth shut. I understood Wang Guan's feelings. The guy I used to be on Earth would have agreed with him completely. But I also knew Wang Tianqi had a point. In this world where the strong eat the weak, showing mercy to your enemy could get your whole family killed. And honestly, I thought about myself just a few days ago. Helpless, my life in someone else's hands, one casual attack away from being erased from existence. I was just like those kids. Powerless. This world taught me something important that day. If you want to control your own fate, if you want to protect the people you care about, you have to be strong. That's the only thing that matters here. The Li family was completely wiped out. Every last one. I stood there looking at the bodies, feeling nothing really. No sadness, no joy. Just this weird emptiness. Looking at all those corpses, I couldn't help but see myself in them. In this world full of killing, who's to say I won't be the one lying on the ground tomorrow? I shook my head, sighed quietly, and followed behind everyone like I had nothing to do with any of this. And while nobody was looking, yoink, 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 attribute orbs going straight into my pocket. I did a quick loop around the Lee estate, grabbed what I could, then left early. Wang Guan invited me to stay at the Wang family compound, so I followed him there. Neither of us talked on the way. The mood was heavy. He brought me to a guest room. Brother Cloud, rest here. There'll be a victory banquet tonight. I'll come get you. Skip the banquet. Just send me some food. I'm going into closed-door training tonight. All right then. He turned to leave, but I grabbed his shoulder. Something had been weighing on me, and I needed to say it. Brother Wang, everyone walks a different path in life. We can't control everything. But as long as you can look yourself in the mirror with a clear conscience, that's enough. Then I turned around, walked inside, and shut the door. Those words weren't just for him. They were for me too. In this messed up world, as long as I hold on to my principles and stay true to myself, the rest doesn't matter. But enough philosophy. Time to get stronger. System upgrade. I noticed back at the Lee estate that my experience bar was completely full. Hundreds of people worth of attribute points and experience from today's battle had done the job. The moment I said it, the spiritual energy in the room went crazy. It rushed toward me like a tidal wave, swirling around my body in a massive vortex. Then, crack, something broke inside me, and this incredible cool, refreshing feeling spread through every inch of my body. Every muscle, every energy channel, pure bliss. Just like that, in one breath, I broke through to Martial Spirit Realm. And then the system's voice popped up. Notice, system upgrading. Upgrade time, 12 hours. Wait, it upgrades every time I reach a new major realm? Is that going to be a thing? Nobody answered, obviously. Guess I'll figure it out myself. I raised my right hand and channeled my energy. White light gathered around my palm, glowing brighter and brighter like a little star. Then I pushed forward, boom. A blast of pure energy shot out and slammed into the cabinet across the room, leaving a deep palm-shaped dent with wood splinters flying everywhere. Regular warriors can only use spiritual energy to boost their own body, strength, speed, that kind of thing. But shooting energy outside your body to attack at range? Only martial spirit level experts can do that. I grinned like an idiot. Attack power just went through the roof. Ha 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 ha. Then I closed my eyes, and something amazing happened. I could sense everything around me without looking. The furniture, the walls, every tiny detail, even clearer than with my actual eyes. So this is spiritual sense? I'd only read about this in books. I pushed my senses outward. 3 meters. 4 meters. 5 meters before hitting the limit. 5 meters. A normal 1-star martial spirit can only manage 1 meter. Even geniuses and veterans max out at 3 or 4. You're not supposed to reach 5 meters until you hit 2-star. And I just broke through. Finally, I can monitor my alchemy furnace without constantly opening the lid to peek inside. The next day, I woke up in the guest room with sunlight streaming through the window. System upgrade complete. Please check, host. Finally, I opened my stats. Host, Cloud Ting. Rank, Martial Spirit 1-star, 2 out of 10. Strength, 236. Speed, 223. Skill points, 652. Techniques, Mystic Pulse Finger, Tyrant Body, Breeze Sword Style, Mad Blade Slash. Profession, Level 1 Alchemist. My strength and speed basically doubled from the level up, and over 600 skill points. Today's harvest was absolutely insane. System upgraded to level 2. New features unlocked. Please discover them yourself. New features? Where? I don't see anything different. I poked around the system for ages trying to find what changed. Nothing obvious. Nothing hidden. Nothing at all. Ugh, forget it. I'll just go fight a monster and see what happens. Young Master Cloud. The family head would like to see you in the main hall. Perfect timing. Everything was wrapped up, and I was planning to say goodbye to the Wang family anyway. See, White Moon City is just a tiny border town in the Qing Kingdom. Limited resources, limited techniques, limited pills, limited weapons. Basically limited everything. If I want to get truly strong, I can't just sit in a room grinding levels forever. Rank doesn't equal fighting power. Plenty of higher-ranked warriors have gotten killed by people below them because they had garbage skills and equipment. I need to get out there, explore the world, find better stuff. And honestly, I'm curious about this place. I want to see what's out there. I followed the servant to the main hall. Wang Tianxi, Wang Guan, the Grand Elder, and the Third Elder were all there. I noticed everyone looked pretty healthy. Those cultivation restoration pills I gave Wang Guan yesterday clearly got shared around. Smart move. Before I could even sit down, Wang Tianxi walked up and gave me a deep, formal bow. Young Master Cloud, words cannot express our gratitude. From this day forward, if you ever need anything from the Wang family, just say the word. We will go through fire and water without hesitation. I quickly grabbed him and pulled him upright. Uncle Wang, please. You're an elder. You can't bow to me like that. You're going to give me a heart attack. After some back-and-forth pleasantries, he pulled out a storage bag. This is your share of the resources from the Li family. I converted all the pills, herbs, and materials into spirit stones for you. Well, thank you, Uncle Wang. I'm not going to pretend to be modest about loot. This wasn't some New Year's pocket money from Grandma. This was an entire family's wealth. I peeked inside, and my brain short-circuited. The bag was packed with spirit stones. 700 or 800 of them just sitting there in a big pile. I was staring with my mouth open. Wang Tianxi saw my face and panicked. I'm so sorry. I know it's not enough. The Li family's restaurants, gambling houses, and properties haven't been sold yet, and we also have to. He paused awkwardly. We also have to hand over half of everything to the City Lord's office. So the remaining amount is a bit low. Once we sell off all the Li assets, there should be another batch coming. OH. He thought I was disappointed. No. I was just stunned because I'd never seen this many spirit stones in my life. Wait, City Lord's office? That confused me. I'd been in White Moon City for a while now and never even seen this so-called City Lord. And now you're telling me after all that fighting and dying, we have to give half to some guy who didn't lift a finger? Indeed, Wang Tianxi explained. Whether it was us or the Li family who won, the victor must hand over half of all seized resources to the City Lord. But why? He smiled and gestured for me to sit. Once I had a plate of delicious monster meat in front of me, which, by the way, was amazing, he explained. Turns out the Qing Kingdom borders the Sunset Forest, and cities around here constantly get attacked by monster beasts. There have even been full-on beast stampedes hitting the walls. So 100 years ago, the king made a rule: no large-scale family wars in border cities. If you do fight and cause massive casualties, you either get executed or pay a huge resource penalty. The penalty money gets used to train new warriors and strengthen the city's defenses. Oh, that actually makes sense, I nodded. Honestly, getting 700 or 800 spirit stones was already way more than I expected. Uncle Wang, just pay the fine and call it done. I'm very happy with my share. The rest of the Li family assets? Keep them for the Wang family. But that's too much. We couldn't possibly. I waved him off. Uncle Wang, stop. Your family lost people in this fight. People got hurt. People died. Their families need support and compensation. Use the money for that. Please don't argue with me on this. He stared at me for a long moment, clearly moved, then just nodded quietly. I could tell he was filing this away in the Debts.io Cloud Ting folder in his brain. Actually, young Master Cloud, there's one more thing. Go ahead, Uncle Wang. The City Lord, Sun Chong, visited the City Lord's office today and he said he'd like to meet you. What do you think? City Lord Sun Chong. I don't even know the guy. What does he want with me? Wang Tianxi thought about it. If I had to guess, it's probably about the Genius Tournament at the end of the month. Genius Tournament? Like a competition? Wait, does he want me to enter? Very likely. You're not yet 22, correct? Right. But what does that have to? Wang Guan jumped in. Let me explain, Brother Cloud. So here's the deal. Every 3 years, the Tianyang Prefecture holds this massive martial arts competition for young warriors under 22 with at least 5-star warrior strength. Top talents from every city in the region come to compete. Some come for glory, some for fame, and most come for the prizes. For the city lords, having their warriors perform well means bragging rights and rewards from the prefecture government. And White Moon City's track record? Embarrassing. Most cities get 3 to 5 spots. Stronger cities get up to 10. White Moon City, 3. And they can barely even fill those 3 spots with qualified people. The city lord has apparently been getting roasted by other city lords for years over this. So when he heard that some young guy just killed a family patriarch, yeah, I can see why he got excited. All right, Uncle Wong, Brother Wong. I'll go meet the city lord. Wong Guan will take you. He's one of our contestants, too. The city lord's mansion sat right in the center of White Moon City like a mini palace. Giant red lanterns on the gate. Doors made of precious golden stone with fancy carvings, jade railings, and stairs. The whole place screamed money and power. Wong Guan and I waited at the gate while the guards went inside to announce us. They didn't take us to a meeting room, though. Instead, we walked through the gardens to a massive training arena. This place was the size of 2 soccer fields, and 4 young guys were sparring on stage with bare fists. Standing below watching them was a man in expensive clothes. Distinguished looking, sharp eyes, a bit of gray at the temples, but still clearly handsome. I'm in charge here. Energy was impossible to miss. Yep, that's City Lord Sun Chong. City Lord, Wong Guan, and Cloud Ting have arrived. Greetings, City Lord. We both bowed together. I glanced up at him and noticed something interesting. This guy was stronger than people thought. At ease, at ease. He was all smiles, especially when he looked at me. Now here's the fun part. I could tell he was trying to read my power level and getting nothing. To him, I probably looked like a regular person with 0 spiritual energy. But when he got closer, I could sense him tense up. He felt the danger coming off me, like being watched by a predator. See, everyone thinks he's a 9-star warrior, but I could tell with my spiritual sense. This guy was actually a 10-star warrior who'd been hiding his real strength for 2 years. Sneaky old fox. He figured I was either hiding my cultivation with some special technique, or I was at the same level as him. The idea that I might be at martial spirit level? That probably never even crossed his mind. The 4 guys on stage noticed us and stopped fighting. Sun Chong waved them over. Whoa, all of you come here. Introduce yourselves. Yes, father. The first one bowed. Oh, so this was the city lord's son. I am Sun Wu. Short. Simple. Done. I am Li Baixing. I am Zhang Wenlong. I am Zhang Wenhu. 4 names, 0 personality. Real chatty bunch. Sun Chong took over introductions for our side. This is Wong Guan. You probably know him. Wong family's young master, 6-star warrior. And this is Cloud Ting. I'm sure you've heard the name recently. The Li family patriarch Li Mo was defeated by him. He carefully said, defeated, instead of killed. Smart. As city lord, he was partially responsible for letting 2 families go to war under his watch. So of course he wanted to downplay things. One of the guys immediately piped up with, oh really? The Li family head was an 8-star warrior. And you beat him. That rude comment came from Sun Wu, the city lord's son, 7-star warrior. No wonder he was cocky. He didn't even know Li Mo had actually reached 9-star before I killed him. Yeah. Him? No way. The Zhang brothers chimed in like perfect little yes-men. I wasn't mad, though. The strongest one here was Sun Wu at 7-star. Li Baixing was 6-star, and the Zhang brothers were 5-star. To me, these guys were about as threatening as a basket of kittens. I just kept my mouth shut. Trust me, if I trash-talked back, this type of rich kid would insist on a friendly spar, and then I'd have to beat him up without hurting him too badly, and that's just annoying. My silence made Sun Wu even bolder. He probably thought I was a fraud. What's wrong? Cat got your tongue? Don't tell me you're actually some kind of fake who. Whack. Sun Chong kicked his own son right in the butt. Shut it. Is this what I taught you? OWWW. Sun Wu stumbled forward, grabbed his behind, and immediately became very well behaved. Though his eyes kept darting over at me with that classic, this isn't over, look. I just stood there smiling like nothing happened. Haha. Sorry about that, young brother Cloud. My wife spoiled him rotten. Please forgive his rudeness, city lord. Please, we're all young and hot-blooded. No offense taken at all. Behind us, Sun Wu muttered under his breath. Humph. Acting all mature like he's so much older than me. Everyone heard it. We all have super hearing. Genius. The atmosphere got a little awkward. Sun Chong shot him a death glare, and Sun Wu finally zipped it for real. So, city lord, what did you actually call me here for? Well, I called you here to. Mid-sentence, Sun Chong attacked. A thunderous palm strike came flying at me out of nowhere. Everyone's jaws dropped, but I didn't even flinch. With my spiritual sense, I'd felt him tense up before he even moved. I knew exactly what he was doing. No dodging. I just met his palm with my own. Boom. The impact sent Sun Chong stumbling back 3 steps. I didn't move an inch. Good. Good. Good, he was thrilled. He'd hit me with 9-star power in a surprise attack, no martial technique, and I tanked it like nothing. Any regular 9-star would have been scrambling. If I'm not mistaken, young brother Cloud, you've already reached 10-star warrior level. I gave a tiny nod. I mean, he wasn't wrong. I did have 10-star power. I just also had quite a bit more than that. But no need to show all my cards. The whole place went silent. Wang Guan was shocked that I'd gotten even stronger since a few days ago. Sun Wu and the others? Their faces were priceless, pure disbelief. They were all around my age, and the gap between us was like comparing a puddle to the ocean. Sun Chang didn't waste any more time. Have you heard of the Genius Tournament? A little. Then I'll keep it short. As you've probably heard, this year's tournament got moved up by a year, and every city got one extra spot, for instead of 3. The reason why? I've heard some things, but can't confirm yet. Originally, I planned to send Sun Wu, Li Baixing, Wang Guan, and Zhang Wenlong. But now that you're here, I'd like you to represent White Moon City. What do you say? I hesitated. Honestly, I didn't really want to go. Standing out too much paints a target on your back. With my system, I could just grind quietly, stay low-key, and become powerful without anyone noticing. The only things I needed, techniques and magic weapons, I could find on my own eventually. Sun Chang saw me going quiet and started sweating. He could tell I was about to say no. Young brother Cloud, don't refuse just yet. At least hear about the rewards first. Rewards? Okay. He had my attention. The Prefecture Lord goes all out for this tournament. The prizes include advanced cultivation manuals, powerful martial techniques, rare pills, and mysterious magic weapons. Basically everything a warrior could dream of. In past years, only the top 3 got prizes. But this year, anyone who makes it into the top 10 gets rewarded. Top 10 gets prizes. Advanced techniques, rare pills, magic weapons. I could feel my resistance crumbling in real time. Sun Chang could tell I wasn't jumping at the offer. Smart man. He figured out real quick that I'm the type who doesn't move until I see something worth moving for. Everyone leave. I want to talk to young brother Cloud alone. Sun Wu, Wang Guan, and the others looked confused but left without arguing. Sun Chang cleared the whole training ground until it was just the 2 of us. You're probably wondering why I'm so desperate to have you fight for White Moon City. If I had to guess, the tournament prizes include something you need. Heh, sharp kid. This year's tournament is special. The Prefecture Lord is going all out. In past years, only the champion got martial spirit level treasures. But this year, the top 3 not only get Spirit Rush pills, they also get to enter the Prefecture Lord's personal treasure vault and pick whatever they want. Techniques, pills, magic weapons, anything. There's a grade limit, but still. So what do you need from that vault? A 2nd grade mid-rank pill called the Meridian Restoration Pill. Meridian Restoration? That's for repairing damaged energy channels. Why do you need? It's a long story. Turns out Sun Chang actually reached 10-star warrior 5 years ago. With his talent, he should have broken through to martial spirit within 3 years, no problem. But he got greedy. Tried to force his breakthrough using spirit stones and spirit rush pills way too early. He went berserk, damaged his energy channels and his core badly. His cultivation dropped. He spent 3 painful years hunting down rare medicines just to fix his core and crawl back to 10-star. But the channel damage? Still not healed. If he can't fix it, he'll never reach martial spirit level. Ever. He'd tried collecting the herbs to have someone make the pill, but only found some of them. And White Moon City doesn't have a 2nd-grade alchemist anyway. So when he heard this year's winners could enter the vault, where the pill definitely existed, he got excited. But White Moon City had no one strong enough to compete for top 3. Then I showed up. Based on past tournaments, a 9-star warrior could already compete for the championship. And he thought I was 10-star. His odds were looking pretty good. You seem awfully confident, City Lord. Even if I get top 3, what makes you think I'd use my pick on your pill? Let me be blunt. What's in it for me? Well, he hesitated, then walked to a stone table, waved his hand, and 4 treasures appeared. Pick one. I walked over to look. 2 books, a box, and a black iron token. First book, Purple Sun Scripture, a top-grade mystic rank cultivation manual. Incredibly rare. But it was only the first half. The second half was missing. Even incomplete, it was still as powerful as a complete mid-grade mystic manual. I could see why he was reluctant to give it up. In the whole Tianyang Prefecture, Even mid-grade mystic manuals were hard to find. But I didn't care. My system handled cultivation just fine. I glanced at it and moved on. Next, second book, Phantom Step, a lower-grade mystic movement technique. Once mastered, you move like a ghost, practically impossible to track. Even more effective at night. Lower grade, sure, but I was severely lacking in movement skills. This was exactly what I needed. Interesting. Third item. I opened the wooden box and a burst of red light shot out like fire. Inside sat a fist-sized crimson stone, smooth as glass, glowing with inner heat. It was actually radiating warmth, like holding a tiny volcano. Is this a fire origin stone? My eyes went wide. These things were legendary in the Qing Kingdom. If you practiced fire techniques, this thing supercharged your training. If you had a spirit flame, it could feed and grow your fire. I'd only ever heard of them, never actually seen one. Haha, that's exactly what it is. Sun Chang looked pretty proud of himself. There are no fire origin stone deposits anywhere in our entire prefecture. I found this one by pure luck during my travels years ago. You couldn't buy one even if you wanted to. A ghost step technique and a firestone that could power up my red flame? This was getting very tempting. I put the firestone box down and picked up the last item, a black iron token with the character green carved on it. What's this? Doesn't look like a weapon or anything. Have you heard of the 4 great academies? Wait, you mean the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise academies? The ones in the capital? Okay, I was freaking out a little. These 4 academies were basically the Harvard, Oxford, MIT, and Stanford of the martial arts world. Every warrior in the Qing Kingdom dreamed of getting in. They pumped out top-tier talent every single year. That's right. And this token? It's your ticket, Ian. Specifically, Azure Dragon Academy. He explained the admission rules. There were 2 ways to get in. Reach martial spirit realm before age 20, or have a special talent like alchemy, weapon forging, talisman making, or formation building before age 30. Either way, show up with proof, pass the exam, and you're in. But the academies also sent scouts out into the countryside looking for talented warriors who just lacked resources. When they found someone promising, they'd hand them a token and say, "Find your own way to the academy." And here's the brutal part. Plenty of people who got tokens sold them for quick cash. Others got murdered on the road and had their tokens stolen. And the academies? They didn't care. Their attitude was basically, if you can't even protect one little token, you're not cut out for this. The journey itself was the first test. The academies didn't check where the token came from either. As long as you had one, you got in. But every year there were exams. Fail, and you're kicked out. This particular token was clearly meant for Sun Wu. I could practically feel Sun Chang silently praying. Please don't pick the token. Please don't pick the token. I rubbed my chin and thought it over. Then I dropped the bomb. 1 item isn't enough. I want 2. What? 2? Absolutely not. Sun Chang looked like I'd slapped him. Each of these 4 treasures was individually worth as much as a meridian restoration pill. Giving me 2 meant he was losing on the deal. He was probably thinking I'd go for the Purple Sun Scripture and the Azure Dragon token, his 2 most valuable pieces. Relax, City Lord. I don't want the Purple Sun Scripture or the token. I just want the Phantom Step technique and the Fire Origin Stone. You could practically see his brain short-circuiting. He was ready to say no, but then he processed what I'd actually asked for. The Phantom Step? He'd already mastered it and secretly copied it ages ago. The Fire Origin Stone? He didn't practice fire techniques, so to him it was basically just an expensive paperweight. Compared to losing the scripture or his son's academy ticket, this was a steal for him. He thought about it for roughly 2 seconds. If those are really your only 2 choices, I can agree. But I'd like to wait until you actually get the Meridian Restoration pill before we do the exchange. How about this, City Lord? Keep the Firestone for now, but give me the Phantom Step first. Think about it. You want me to win top 3, right? This movement technique directly makes me stronger and increases your chances. Win-win. And if somehow I don't get your pill, I'll compensate you with a mystic grade technique. Fair. Well, since you put it that way, refusing would just be rude. Here, take the Phantom Step now. I'll hold on to the Fire Origin Stone until you bring back the pill. And forget about compensating me if it doesn't work out. Let's just call it the start of a friendship. I blinked, then grinned. Haha. City Lord, you're a straightforward man. Then it's settled. The Genius Tournament's top 3. I cracked my knuckles. Consider it done. Next day, the City Lord's office announced the 4 competitors for the Tianyang Prefecture Genius Tournament. Sun Wu and Li Baixing representing the City Lord's office, Wang Guan representing the Wang family, and me, Cloud Ting, listed as an independent cultivator. The tournament was at the end of the month. 11 days from now. Here's the problem. Tianyang City was far. The normal route went around Sunset Forest, passing through over a dozen cities, and even rushing day and night. It would take 7 or 8 days. Sun Chong was personally leading the group. Sun Wu, Li Baixing, Wang Guan, the Zhang brothers, and 6 guards. 12 people total. I wasn't going with them. See, the safe route goes around the forest on main roads. Nice and safe. 7 to 8 days. My route. Straight through Sunset Forest. 4 to 5 days. Way faster. Also way more likely to get me killed. Sun Chong tried really hard to talk me out of it. Begged, argued, reasoned. I said no to all of it. Eventually, he just had to trust that I knew what I was doing. I said my goodbyes to the Wang family and Sun Chong that same day and left a full day ahead of everyone else. I blasted through the forest's outer zone like a bolt of lightning. Didn't even slow down. In less than half a day, I reached the spot where that female martial king had fought the dragon beast, the place where everything went wrong. The forest had healed itself in just a few days. Burned trees had already grown fresh green leaves. Flowers and grass covered the scorched earth like nothing ever happened. If it weren't for one thing, I wouldn't have even recognized the place. Green Wolf's grave was still there. I pulled out a piece of monster meat and set it gently in front of the little dirt mound. I'm leaving this place, Green Wolf. I talked to him like I was talking to an old friend. I didn't know when I'd come back. Didn't know if I'd come back, or if I'd even be alive to come back. So I treated this like a final goodbye. See you around, Green Wolf. I turned and walked deeper into the forest without looking back. With that martial king's pressure gone, all the monsters had returned to their territories. The deeper I went, the darker and creepier everything got. Late first-grade monsters were everywhere, jumping out of bushes and trees constantly. And second-grade monsters started showing up more and more too. Way stronger, way meaner. But that was exactly why I chose this route. Every monster I fought was training. Every second-grade beast I killed was a pile of walking attribute points just waiting to be collected. Time to grind. Deep inside Sunset Forest, I was flying through the trees like a ghost, darting between the shadows, vanishing and reappearing hundreds of meters ahead in the blink of an eye. And yes, I was chasing a monster. A snow-white little creature zipping through the forest like a beam of light. This thing was so fast that even a 10-star warrior wouldn't be able to track it properly. It was a lightning mink, a late first-grade beast famous for being faster than even ordinary 1-star martial spirit experts. Basically the speed demon of the monster world. Phantom Step. I whispered the words, my body flickered like a ghost, and boom, I was right behind it. Thank you, Sun Chong. I'd learned Phantom Step that very first night back at the Wang estate, dumped 500 skill points into it, and maxed it out instantly. Without this technique, I'd be standing there watching this little fur ball disappear into the distance like an idiot. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The mink was panicking, its tiny eyes darting around like it wanted to scream, "Please don't kill me," in human words. No mercy. Not after what this little thief did. See, half an hour ago I was having a lovely time roasting some meat for lunch. The fire was still burning. The meat was just done. I was reaching for it, and whoosh. This sneaky little rat stole my food right off the fire and bolted. I'd been chasing it ever since, and now I had it. One swing of my sword. Lightning Mink was fast, sure, but its body was weaker than most mid-first-grade beasts. The blade cut clean through. Done. Attribute orbs dropped on the ground, glowing softly. This time, I did not bend down to pick them up. I just stood there and said, "System, collect." The orbs flickered and vanished. Absorbed. Just like that. This was the new feature from the system upgrade. As long as attribute orbs were within 1 meter of me, I could collect them automatically through the system. No more awkward bending and grabbing. No more looking like a weirdo crawling around on the ground in front of people. No more losing orbs because I couldn't pick them up fast enough. I checked my stats. Host, Cloud Ting. Rank, Martial Spirit 1-star, 7 out of 10. Strength, 276. Speed, 289. Skill points, 624. Techniques: Mystic Pulse Finger, Phantom Step, Tyrant Body, Breeze Sword Style, Mad Blade Slash. Profession: Level 1 Alchemist. I discovered this feature shortly after entering the forest, and it was an absolute game changer. 2 days of monster hunting, and my stats were climbing fast. After collecting the orbs, I bent down and carefully skinned the mink. The pelt was a bit damaged from my sword slash, but it was still worth about 10 spirit stones. Hey, even a mosquito leg is still meat. After collecting my loot, I kept walking deeper into the forest, sweeping my spiritual sense around constantly. Any late first-grade monster that popped up? Dead. I was harvesting beasts, picking herbs, having a great time. As the sky started getting dark and I was thinking about finding a spot to camp, boom. A massive explosion from about 100 meters ahead, loud enough to shake the trees. My whole body tensed up. Last time I heard sounds like that, I almost died watching a martial king fight a dragon. But I calmed down and felt for any powerful pressure. Nothing. No high-level warriors around. Just monsters. I activated Phantom Step, blended into the shadows, and crept forward like a ghost. Climbed up a massive tree to get a good view from the top. What I saw made my skin crawl. A three-tailed poison scorpion, early 2nd grade, the size of a small cow, was swinging its 3 venomous tail stingers around like crazy, fighting a swarm of blood-red ants pouring out of a cave. These weren't ordinary ants. These were blood-devouring frenzy ants, the kind that makes even experienced cultivators turn pale and run. Each ant was only about the size of a rat, but they had razor-sharp teeth that could rip through monster hide like paper. When they swarm you, nothing left, not even bones. Here's the terrifying part about these things. They're all born from a single ant queen. An early 2nd grade queen pumps out 1,000 worker ants per day, each one as strong as a low-rank warrior. Plus 100 soldier ants equal to high-rank warriors. And given a few months, she can even produce an ant king as powerful as herself. The swarm protects the queen, feeds her first, and she just keeps making more. The only limiting factor is that stronger ants need way more energy to produce, which keeps the colony from growing infinitely. Most colonies only ever have one king. This particular colony had thousands of workers, over 20 soldier ants at 10-star warrior level, and 1 ant king at early 2nd grade. The worker ants had the scorpions surrounded in layers upon layers, but they couldn't do anything. The scorpion's shell was too hard. Their teeth just scraped uselessly against it. Meanwhile, one casual tail swipe from the scorpion crushed dozens of ants at a time. Then something changed. Like the queen gave an order, the 20-plus soldier ants and the king all charged in at once. Now the scorpion was in trouble. Workers alone. Easy. But 20 10-star level soldiers, plus a king that matched its own power? Wounds started opening up on the scorpion's body, green blood dripping to the ground. The smell of blood drove the ants into an absolute frenzy. The scorpion tried to bail, shook off the soldiers, whipped all 3 tails in a wide sweep, poisoned 3 soldier ants instantly, and made a break for it. But the ant king was already blocking the escape route. This thing was the size of a house cat, way bigger than the rat-sized workers. It launched itself at the scorpion like a bullet, smashed into it headfirst, and knocked it back. More soldiers piled on top immediately. I sat in my tree, watching this whole nature documentary play out below me, thinking, that's a lot of attribute points down there. The scorpion let out this horrible dying shriek. It was done. One of its 3 poison tails was bitten clean off. The other 2 were barely hanging on. Its armor was cracked open everywhere, green blood pooling on the ground. Every move it made looked exhausting. The ant king saw the weakness and went for the kill. It climbed onto the scorpion's body, bit through the shell, and started drinking. Its yellowish-white belly swelled up like a balloon as it sucked the scorpion dry. The scorpion's struggles got weaker. Weaker. And then its 2 remaining tails just dropped lifelessly to the ground. Attribute orbs appeared on the ground around the corpse. Fight over. But I didn't leave. I stayed perfectly still in my tree, barely breathing, and waited. Because the real prize hadn't shown up yet. Sure enough, a few minutes later, the ant queen came out. A swarm of worker ants carried her from the cave like servants carrying a royal palanquin. She was massive, almost as big as the scorpion itself. Her belly took up 2/3 of her entire body, so bloated she could barely move on her own. She stared at the scorpion corpse with greedy little eyes. If she ate that thing, she'd have enough energy to produce another Ant King. Yeah, that's not happening. I activated Phantom Step and launched myself toward her at full speed. The Ant King and the remaining soldiers were busy tearing apart the scorpion's body. None of them noticed me coming. I pushed Phantom Step to its absolute limit. Flash. I was already within a few dozen meters. The outer ring of worker ants spotted me first, waving their little antennae and making alarm sounds. The Ant King and soldiers finally looked up from their meal and scrambled toward the queen. Too late, guys. The workers swarmed at me, biting and clawing, but these things were only low-rank warrior level. With my tyrant body active, they couldn't even scratch me. The queen was making frantic, clicking noises, ordering her workers to carry her away and screaming for the king to save her. I summoned Red Flame and spread it around my entire body like a fire shield. Every worker ant that got close instantly roasted. I kept pushing forward through the swarm using Phantom Step, leaving a trail of burning ants behind me. One soldier ant was stationed right next to the queen as a bodyguard. It charged straight at me. I slapped it once. Its supposedly rock-hard head cracked open like a watermelon. No more waiting. 10 meters from the queen, I raised 2 fingers, Mystic Pulse Finger, and fired 2 blasts of concentrated energy straight at her bloated body. For a combat weakling like the Ant Queen, 2 martial spirit level attacks were massive overkill. My energy blasts punched straight through her head and belly. One pathetic shriek and she toppled over, yellowish-white gunk oozing out everywhere. Gross. Then something amazing happened. Every single ant in the entire swarm started dropping like dominoes. Workers collapsed in waves, soldiers crumpled, and even the Ant King only thrashed around for a few seconds before going still. Phew. It worked. Just like the book said, kill the queen, and everything she controls dies with her. If that trick hadn't worked, and I'd gotten swarmed instead, I would have ended up just like that scorpion. Trapped and eaten alive. The mantis hunts the cicada, but the oriole waits behind. Hey, and all of it goes to me. I looked at the ground. Attribute, orbs everywhere. Thousands of dead ants, each one dropping something. It was like the world's greatest loot explosion. System, collect. I walked back and forth through the sea of ant corpses for 5 full minutes, vacuuming up everything. Thank goodness the system upgrade extended the orb timer to 15 minutes. At the old duration, I would have lost half of this haul before I could grab it all. I checked my stats and nearly fell over. Host, Cloud Ting. Rank, Martial Spirit 2-star, 16/20. Strength, 343. Speed, 374. Skill points, 5,246. 5,000 skill points? I'm rich. This was the jackpot of jackpots. I won't have to worry about skill points for a long time. I jumped from 1-star to 2-star just from this one fight. My strength and speed had skyrocketed. Absolutely insane harvest. After calming down, I collected the physical loot too, the Ant King's fangs, the scorpion's poison stingers, and then carefully carved out the monster cores from the queen and the scorpion. The Ant King didn't have one, sadly. I held the 2 cores up and studied them. In my left hand, a pale yellow core from the queen, Earth Attribute, glowing with a soft, warm light. In my right hand, a jet black core from the scorpion, Poison Attribute, dark and mysterious. Poison cores were rare, way more valuable than regular elemental cores. Nice. I packed both into wooden boxes and tucked them away. Then a thought hit me. Wait, why was the scorpion here in the first place? Normally, monsters run from blood-devouring frenzy ants. Any sane creature would avoid their territory like the plague. So why would a scorpion charge in here, knowing it was basically a suicide mission? Unless there was something inside that cave worth dying for. Some kind of incredible treasure that lured the scorpion in despite the danger. I looked at the dark cave entrance. It gaped open like the mouth of some giant beast, ready to swallow anything that got too close. A faint stench of blood and rot drifted out. I started walking toward it. What kind of treasure could possibly be worth that kind of risk? Only one way to find out. My spiritual sense had grown to 16 meters now thanks to leveling up, but old habits die hard. I still liked using my actual eyes too. I held Red Flame out in front of me like a torch and stepped into the cave, scanning with my spiritual sense as backup. Can never be too careful. This ant nest was like a massive underground maze. tunnels going left, right, up, down, splitting and reconnecting in the most confusing way possible. I picked up rocks along the way and scratch marks on the walls so I wouldn't get lost. Did I still get lost? Yep, multiple times. Kept ending up back where I'd already been. Annoying as hell. After half an hour of wandering around, I was getting really frustrated. Then I spotted a faint glow up ahead. My mood flipped instantly. I picked up the pace and headed straight for it. The tunnel opened up into this enormous underground chamber. The place was big enough to fit an entire army. Above me, massive tree roots twisted along the walls and ceiling like giant dragons, weaving together into this incredible natural structure. Light filtered through gaps between the roots, illuminating everything. The ants had sealed those gaps with some kind of secretion that worked like glass. Light comes in, rain stays out. Pretty genius, actually. The floor was covered in dead ants. Hundreds of them, just lying there. These were the workers that died when I killed the queen, but it had been way more than 15 minutes, so all their attribute orbs were long gone. That stung a little, not gonna lie. Near the bodies was a small platform covered in cocoon-like balls. I looked closer and could see tiny unborn baby ants inside each one. This was the queen's nursery. All dead now, too. The whole place was completely silent. Ding! A crisp sound echoed through the quiet chamber. I followed the sound around the back of the platform and found another tunnel. But this one was completely different from the natural ant tunnels. This one was man-made. How did I know? Simple. Have you ever seen a monster carve little holes in the wall and stick glowing pearls in them for lighting? No? Yeah, me neither. Someone had been down here. Someone human. My eyes darted around, scanning everything. Something felt off. I quickened my pace and crossed to the other side of the platform. And there it was, a stone room. Ancient-looking, mysterious, just sitting there in the middle of a monster ant colony like it didn't belong at all. I stopped at the entrance and didn't go in. Not yet. How in the world is there a room inside a blood-devouring frenzy ant nest? Calling it a stone room was generous. It was more. Like a tiny cave somebody turned into a living space. No door, no curtain, nothing blocking the view, so I could see everything the moment I got close. Right in the middle sat a smooth stone table with 2 stone stools on either side, like some kind of ancient dining set. On the table was a black and white chessboard with exactly 1 black piece and 1 white piece placed on it. Now, I know absolutely nothing about chess, so I looked at it, thought, cool, 2 dots on a board, and moved on. At the back of the room, a warrior sat cross-legged on the ground, facing away from me. In front of him was a stone basin, and hanging above it was this weird stalactite-looking thing, completely transparent like crystal, glowing faintly. Half a drop of milky white liquid was dangling from the tip, about to fall. The basin below was already full of the stuff. Is that spirit milk? I'd only read about it in books. Spirit milk can only form in places where spiritual energy is so concentrated that it literally turns into liquid. But I wasn't sensing any dense spiritual energy here at all. Yet it looked exactly like the descriptions. Senior? Senior, I called out twice. No response. I decided to go in. A few steps forward, I felt something weird, like my body passed through a thin, invisible barrier. It was there for just a split second, then gone. Was that my imagination? Then it hit me. WHOA, the spiritual energy in here is insane. The concentration inside the room was on a completely different level from outside. That explained the spirit milk. There must be some kind of barrier sealing all this dense energy inside. I turned my attention back to the sitting figure. Senior, I called again, walking closer. Still no movement. Up close, the guy looked about 60 or 70 years old. He wore a faded gray robe that was torn up and stained with old blood, clearly been through some serious battles. He was tall but thin, almost frail-looking. His face was gaunt and bony, cheeks sunken in, with messy gray stubble on his chin like he hadn't groomed in ages. The whole look screamed, exhausted old warrior who's seen too much. Still no reaction, not even a twitch. I carefully extended my spiritual sense toward him and felt absolutely nothing. No life energy, no heartbeat, no breath, nothing. He's dead. Yeah, he was definitely dead, and had been for a long time. The crazy thing was his body was perfectly preserved, no decay at all, just sitting there like he could wake up any minute. My spiritual sense also told me he had no storage bag anywhere on him. The only thing of interest was a plain-looking ring on his finger. Wait, is that a storage ring? Honestly, if he'd had a normal storage bag, I never would have looked twice at that ring. The thing was so plain and ugly it looked like someone bent a soda can tab into a circle and shoved it on his finger. But in this world, storage rings were supposed to be legendary treasures, way rarer and more valuable than storage bags. Looks can be deceiving, I guess. Storage rings are way better than storage bags. Bags are bulky, have tiny space inside, and anyone with basic formation knowledge can crack them open. Rings? Small, convenient, huge internal space. And once you bind one with your soul, nobody can break into it unless the owner dies. Try to force it open, and everything inside gets destroyed. Dear Senior, rest in peace. Don't worry, I'll take great care of this ring for you. And since you haven't said no, I'll take your silence as a yes. Hey, look, the guy was dead. He wasn't using it anymore. I was just recycling. My hands were literally trembling with excitement as I carefully slid the ring off his bony finger. I sat down cross-legged right there, closed my eyes, and extended my spiritual sense into the ring to bind it. There was some resistance at first, pretty strong too. But I figured, hey, high-quality item, probably harder to bind. Makes sense. After about 10 seconds, my spiritual sense broke through and I was inside, stabbing pain through my skull. Everything went black. I collapsed on the ground. Ha ha ha. After nearly 100 years, a body finally walks right in. A maniacal laugh filled the stone room. A transparent ghost floated out of the ring, and it looked exactly like the dead body sitting next to me. Same face, same build, same everything. So yeah, this old man's soul had been hiding inside the storage ring for a century, waiting for some idiot to come along and try to bind it. And that idiot was me. The resistance I felt wasn't the ring being high quality. It was this ghost trapping me. The soul floated around my unconscious body, examining me like a shopper inspecting fruit at a market. TSK, not bad at all. Wide meridians, strong blood flow, and this body's been refined and tempered too. Way tougher than your average warrior. He was practically drooling over my body. But then something went wrong for him. His transparent form started getting even more transparent. He was flickering, shaking, like a candle about to go out. 100 years of keeping a soul intact without a body had clearly taken its toll. Can't wait any longer. Soul energy is almost gone. He flickered a few more times and then dove straight into my head. The instant he entered, my body reacted on instinct, just a tiny twitch. Then suddenly I found myself floating in this weird gray-white space, like I'd been pulled out of my own body. I was standing there as a soul in some kind of strange dimension, no idea what was happening. Before I could figure anything out, the old man's ghost appeared in the space right in front of me. Oh great. So let me get this straight. I came in here looking for treasure, found a dead body, got greedy, grabbed his ring, and now some century-old ghost is trying to steal my body? This is what I get for looting corpses. Strange. My soul attack hit him, but his spirit isn't unconscious? That shouldn't be possible. The ghost appeared in front of me, looking confused. Apparently, the old geezer had left a trap inside the ring. A soul attack powerful enough to knock out or even kill a martial spirit-level warrior. It should have put me into a deep coma instantly. But here I was, standing, awake, perfectly fine. Maybe the attack weakened over 100 years, he muttered to himself. Hey, who are you? Where is this? How did I get here? Let me out. I was panicking. I couldn't use any spiritual energy. My body had no strength, and I was just floating around as a naked soul in some gray-white void. Absolutely terrifying. I'd never existed as a pure soul before. I didn't even know this place was my own mind, my spiritual sea. The old ghost puffed up his chest proudly. Who am I? Listen well, boy. I am the great Danyang Zi. Surely my legendary name strikes fear into your. Never heard of you. Impossible. You must be lying. How could you not know my name? Never heard of you. Now stop messing around and let me out, old man. Let you out? Huh. Dream on. I waited 100 years for someone to walk in here. If I let you go, where am I going to find another body? Body? The pieces clicked together in my head. Wait, are you trying to body snatch me? I'd heard about this. When warriors reach martial king level, their souls become strong enough to survive even after their body dies. If they find a suitable living body, they can take it over and basically get a second life. Ha ha ha, correct. 100 years ago, I was hunted down and wounded beyond recovery. I had no choice but to abandon my body and seal my soul inside that specially made storage ring. Then I set up a formation here that only humans could enter. Human greed being what it is, any warrior who found my body would definitely try to bind my ring. And here you are, right on schedule. This old fossil had been sitting here for a century, running a con on dead bodies. And I walked right into it. Time to beg. Senior, look at me. I'm just a skinny little nobody with a low cultivation level. How about you let me go and I'll find you a better body? I promise. Customer satisfaction guaranteed. No need. Your body is perfect. Those wide meridians, that tempered flesh, I'm very satisfied. Now be a good boy and let me devour your soul. We'll become one, and I'll make your name famous across the world. Famous my butt. I'll be dead. What good is fame when you're a corpse? All right, old man. You want to take my body? Come and try. Let's see who dies first. No point in begging anymore. This ghost wasn't going to back down, and neither was I. It's him or me. Let's go. Then don't blame me for being rude. Ha ha. Die, boy. He launched himself straight at me. Right as he came flying in, I had a flash of inspiration. I couldn't use spiritual energy. I had no physical strength, but I could still summon red flame. Come on, baby. Don't let me down now. Danyang Zi saw the fire in my hands and flinched. Souls are most afraid of two things, fire and lightning. These deal the most damage to spiritual bodies. But then he got a closer look and laughed. Huh, it's just beast fire. I thought it was spirit fire for a second. Boy, if that's all you've got, just accept your fate. He talked tough, but I could tell he was worried. 100 years of floating around as a ghost had left his soul extremely weak. A few more years without a body, and he'd just evaporate on his own. My red flame might be just beast fire, but to a soul this fragile, it was a real threat. He tried to find an opening around my flames, but couldn't get past. Finally, he gritted his teeth, accepted the pain, and charged straight through the fire. His soul was literally burning, but he didn't care. He started throwing soul attacks at me with some kind of hand techniques, and I got absolutely wrecked. My soul was tiny and weak compared to a former martial king. I had zero combat ability in soul form. Within seconds, he had me locked in his grip like a rag doll. I win, boy, old fart. You're only winning because I'm young. Let me go and fight me outside in the real world if you've got the guts. Huh? You think that basic trash talk works on me? I'm 300 years old, kid. He wasn't wasting any more time. One hand held me locked down while his other hand reached into my soul and ripped something out. The pain was beyond anything I'd ever felt. Splitting headache, full body agony, and this horrible draining feeling, like my life was being sucked away. I was getting weaker by the second. This was what dying felt like. Then, the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard in my entire life. System detected virus. Initiate cleanup? Yes/no. Please select yes. Yes, 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 yes. Instantly, the system locked Danyang Zi down. His hand froze mid-motion. The chunk of my soul he'd ripped out hadn't even reached his mouth yet. His entire ghostly body was completely paralyzed. I broke free from his grip, and that missing piece of my soul zipped back into me like a magnet. I felt whole again. The pain faded, the weakness disappeared. What? What's happening? What did you do? Release me. Impossible. You're just a tiny martial spirit brat. How can you have this kind of power? This is impossible. Danyang Zi was thrashing and screaming, completely unable to move. Then it got worse for him. Some invisible force started crushing his soul from the top down. He fought it with everything he had. 300 years of cultivation, a century of waiting, every last scrap of power, and it did nothing. His head turned to white light first, then his shoulders, then his chest. Bit by bit, the great and legendary Danyang Zi was erased from existence. A few seconds later, all that remained was a small ball of white light floating in the air. I reached out and poked it. Bad idea? Great idea? The light ball shot into my soul the instant I touched it. Oh, that feels amazing. Pure bliss washed through my entire being. So this is what people mean by, my soul ascended. My soul body visibly grew larger and stronger. And I could actually move freely now, even feel real power in my spiritual form. Next time some ghost tries to body snatch me, I won't be completely helpless anymore. System, you finally came through for me. I was genuinely moved. I had no idea the system could do that. Detecting a soul invasion as a virus and just deleting it? Incredible. 300-year-old Marshall King ghost, outsmarted by antivirus software. What a way to go. Made perfect sense when I thought about it. My spiritual sea is the system's territory. I'm the only one allowed in there. Any other soul? That's a virus. And viruses get deleted. Virus cleared. Virus cleared. Virus cleared. Cost: 1,000 skill points. Wait, it costs skill points? Oh man. Good thing I just got that massive haul from the ant colony. If this had happened a week ago when I was broke, I'd be dead right now. I closed my soul's eyes, and my real body's eyes opened. I was lying on the stone floor of the cave, very much alive and very much still in my body. I got up and did my usual habit, sweep the area with spiritual sense, and immediately noticed something was very different. My range used to be 16 meters. I pushed it out. 20 meters. 30. 40. 50. 60. 75 meters. I got a little dizzy at the end, but 75. That's the level of a 7-star martial spirit expert. So that's what happens when you absorb a powerful soul's energy. My spiritual sense range just multiplied several times over. I checked my stats. Skill points dropped from 5,246 to 4,246 from the virus cleanup. Expensive, but absolutely worth every single point. Then, OW, a sharp headache hit me, and suddenly my brain was flooded with stuff. Images, knowledge, memories. I closed my eyes and let it wash over me. Are these Danyang Z's memories? If this was real, I'd just hit the ultimate jackpot. Forget spirit stones and treasures. Getting 200 to 300 years of knowledge from a powerful expert was infinitely more valuable. I was a stranger in this world who barely knew anything beyond what White Moon City's little library had to offer. The memories were incomplete, probably because his soul had deteriorated over a century, or the system destroyed parts when it deleted him. But what remained was more than enough. It would take me days just to process everything. Here's what I learned about the old ghost. Danyang Z was a legitimate genius. 100 years ago, he was a level 5 alchemist who could make top-grade 5th-rank pills. Also a level 5 weapon refiner and a level 3 formation master. The storage ring? He made it himself. A custom spirit ring designed specifically to preserve his soul. The barrier outside the stone room? Also his work. It kept spiritual energy from leaking out, blocked monsters from entering, and only allowed humans through. That's why the frenzy ants never came in here despite living right next door. He used to be the pill hall master of Medicine King Valley, basically the second most powerful person in the entire sect. 3-star Marshall King, with endless resources and people lining up daily begging him to make pills and weapons. If he'd just stayed put and trained normally, he could have eventually become a high-level Marshall King or even a Martial Emperor. But nope. During a secret realm expedition, a senior elder found some mysterious cultivation manual of unknown grade. Danyang Z learned how overpowered the technique was, got greedy, ambushed the elder, and killed him. The elder was actually a 5-star Martial King, way stronger than Danyang Z, but had been injured fighting others for treasure. Even so, a fragment of the elder's soul escaped back to the valley and told the sect master everything. The valley sent their best people to hunt Danyang Z down. And here's the twisted part. The mysterious technique let him devour the people he killed. He took out the hunters one by one, absorbing their power each time. In just a few years, he went from 3-star to 10-star Martial King, surpassing even the Valley Master's 9-star cultivation. But the rapid growth drove him insane. The technique was corrupting him, flooding his body with chaotic, conflicting energies. His rank was sky-high, but his actual combat power was unstable garbage. When the Valley Master finally caught up, Danyang Z got beaten easily. His body was falling apart from the inside. He fled with critical injuries all the way to Sunset Forest, found this place with its dense spiritual energy, discovered the spirit milk, but was too badly hurt to even use it. So he abandoned his body, sealed his soul in the ring, and went to sleep. For 100 years. Until some greedy kid named Cloud Ting walked in and tried to take his ring. He thought he'd won the lottery, a nice strong body, plus his broken, overpowered technique to climb back to the top and destroy Medicine King Valley. Too bad he didn't account for my little cheat code. 300 years of scheming, ended by antivirus software. Rest in pieces, old man. And thanks for the memories, literally. I couldn't help but shake my head at Danyang Z's whole story. Greedy snake trying to swallow an elephant. Betrayed his own sect for one technique. Ruined his life. Spent 100 years as a ghost. And ended up as antivirus food. What a waste. Alright, let's see what goodies he left behind. With his soul completely gone and my soul power boosted from absorbing him, I bound the storage ring in seconds. Peeked inside, and wow. 10,000 cubic meters of space. That's massive compared to a crappy little storage bag. Even better, the ring was made with some rare material called void stone, which meant it could be expanded later with the right materials. Upgradable storage? Yes, please. The bad news. The ring was basically empty. Danyang Z had burned through all his spirit stones, pills, and medicines while running for his life. His weapons got destroyed in fights, and his remaining materials went into building the formation around this room. But he did leave a few things worth grabbing. That chessboard on the stone table? Not actually a chessboard. It was a formation disc called the Star Compass, a peak third-grade formation tool loaded with both a trapping formation and an attack formation. Danyang Z had prepared it in case he woke up to danger. Well, it's mine now. Another life-saving trump card in my pocket. I shoved his corpse aside and grabbed the meditation cushion he'd been sitting on. Also a treasure. Made from high-quality spiritual materials, it could boost cultivation speed. I didn't really need it personally, but it would sell for a nice pile of spirit stones. Now for the main event. I reached into the ring and pulled out a jade stone. It looked completely ordinary. Pale green, rough surface, like a random rock you'd kick on the road. But I knew from Danyang Z's memories what this actually was, a jade slip. Powerful warriors used these to record techniques and knowledge, kind of like a magical USB drive. Let's see what technique was so incredible that Danyang Z threw away everything to get it. I pressed the jade to my forehead and sent my spiritual sense inside. 3 massive characters appeared. Spirit devouring art. Devour the spirit of man. Devour the spirit of sun and moon. Devour the spirit of heaven and earth. Nothing cannot be devoured. The technique had 3 cultivation methods. Method 1. Devour human spirit. Basically a power-stealing technique. Absorb other warriors' spiritual energy and take their cultivation for yourself. Fastest growth rate, since there's no shortage of warriors to drain. But the downsides were brutal, unstable cultivation, conflicting energies tearing your body apart from inside, and you'd go insane eventually. Danyang Z was living proof of all of that. Plus, you'd be labeled a demonic cultivator and hunted by everyone. Method 2. Devour sun and moon spirit. Absorb spiritual energy from plants and trees that had soaked up nature's essence. The safest and most stable method. But absorb too much plant energy and your body starts turning into wood. Eventually, you could literally become a human-shaped herb. The only way to avoid this was having an extremely rare wood spirit body, which I definitely did not have. Shame, I would have loved to just hide in a forest somewhere, absorb plants, and grind to max level in peace. Method 3. Devour heaven and earth spirit. Absorb raw natural forces, water, earth, wind, lightning, spirit fire, yin-yang energy, everything. The highest growth potential of all 3. Each absorption tempers your body and solidifies your cultivation, so no unstable foundation problems. The catch? Natural forces are violent. One mistake during absorption and you get shredded from the inside. You need either an insanely strong body or a powerful protector to control the forces during the process. This technique really is overpowered. No wonder Danyang Z lost his mind over it. Method 1. Hard pass. Even with my system preventing unstable cultivation, going around sucking people dry would get me labeled as an evil demon. And I'm not a murderer. Method 2. I wish. But no wood spirit body means I'd slowly turn into a walking tree. Pass. Guess it's method 3 for me. The most dangerous one, naturally. But I had the tyrant body technique and beast fire strengthening my physical body. I could handle it. Besides, I wasn't planning to make this my main training method. I had the system for rapid growth. The spirit devouring art would just be a nice supplement on the side. No need to get greedy. That's literally what killed the last guy who owned this thing. The rest of the stuff in the storage ring was mostly herb encyclopedias and plant cultivation guides that Danyang Zi had taken from Medicine King Valley. Normally, these would be incredibly valuable, but I'd already absorbed most of that knowledge from his memories. So, useless to me now. As for combat techniques, the old man didn't bring a single one. He'd spent his whole life focused on alchemy and weapon crafting and barely trained in martial arts. No wonder he lost to a valley master who was a whole star below him. And the most annoying part? The gaps in his memories were exactly in the martial arts and technique sections. Whatever fragments remained were just scattered bits and pieces, completely impossible to actually learn from. Be grateful. Be grateful, I told myself. Today's haul was already ridiculous. Getting greedy over scraps would just be ungrateful. Next, the spirit milk. That whole stone basin full of milky white liquid was basically liquid treasure. I could absorb it directly using the spirit-devouring art to boost my cultivation. But that would be incredibly stupid. Spirit milk is way too versatile to just chug for experience points. It can be used to supercharge pill recipes, like the Meridian Restoration pill that Sun Chong needed. It can heal injuries fast enough to save even martial master-level warriors. And best of all, it can instantly refill your spiritual energy in the middle of a fight. One sip at the right moment could completely turn a battle around. So no, I wasn't going to waste this miracle juice on grinding levels. There must be a spiritual vein underground causing all this concentrated energy, I wondered. But even if there was, I didn't have time to dig for it. I pulled out jade bottles and started collecting every last drop. 26 bottles to empty the entire basin. And that half drop still hanging from the stalactite tip? I licked it clean. Zero waste policy in effect. That tiny half drop hit my tongue, and a burst of refreshing energy shot straight to my brain. My cultivation ticked up slightly, and my spiritual energy filled to the brim. Man, if I drank all of this, I could probably jump straight to martial master level. But nope, too valuable to waste like that. As I left the stone room, my enhanced soul power let me clearly feel the formation barrier this time. Good, with the barrier still active, this place would keep generating spirit milk. Future me would present me for not breaking anything. I continued down the passage in the other direction, the one that looked man-made. Sure enough, spiritual herbs started appearing along the walls. Some had clearly been nibbled on by monsters. Yellow essence grass, purple cloud flower, dogwood flower. All low-grade herbs. But there were a lot of them. Made sense. Where there's a spiritual vein, there's going to be spiritual plants. Then I stopped dead in my tracks. Is that a crimson face flower? My eyes went wide. A single plant with a brown stem covered in delicate patterns, topped by one gorgeous pink blossom. The petals shifted from soft pink at the center to vivid rose at the edges, gently swaying in the faint underground breeze, releasing this incredible fragrance. I only recognized it thanks to Danyang Zi's memories. This thing was absurdly rare and valuable. The petals could be used to make two different legendary pills. First, the Eternal Youth Pill, a second-grade top-rank pill that literally stops aging. For any female warrior watching her looks fade, one of these pills was worth more than a divine weapon. Second, the Longevity Pill, a third-grade lower-rank pill that adds 5 whole years to your lifespan. For warriors running out of time or trying to break through to higher realms before death, 5 extra years was priceless. No wonder the three-tailed poison scorpion charged into frenzy ant territory. The mature flower's scent must have lured it in. 1, 2, 3, 7 petals total. I pulled out a jade box and carefully plucked each petal one by one. But I left the roots and stem intact. The petals were where all the medicinal value was, and leaving the plant alive meant it would grow new petals eventually. Consider it a gift for whoever finds this place next. I'm generous like that. I swept through the rest of the passage, grabbed every herb I could find, and kept moving. About 20 minutes later, I finally reached the end of the tunnel. By the time I reached the cave exit, the sky was full of stars. I stood at the edge and looked down. Pure darkness. An endless black abyss. You're kidding me. The exit is on a cliff face? I'm not a martial king. I can't fly. How am I supposed to get up from here? Danyang Zi had been a martial king who could literally fly through the air. He'd spotted this cave from above and just floated in. Me? I'm stuck on a ledge like a cat in a tree. Forget it. Sleep first. Figure it out in the morning. At least there were no monsters up here on the cliff. Silver lining. At dawn, I walked to the edge again. Now I could see. About 300 meters below was dense jungle. The cliff wall was steep, but there were little footholds every 10 meters or so, plus vines and branches sticking out. With my martial spirit level strength, I can handle this. Just gotta be careful. I jumped to the first foothold, grabbed the rock wall, and started climbing down. 10 minutes later, I was only 50 or 60 meters from the ground. Almost there. Just a bit more, and I can jump to that tree branch and SRE. A deafening shriek split the sky. A black dot in the distance grew larger fast. Massive white wings, a head shaped like a swallow, a white feather swallow eagle. Peak early second grade. The absolute king of the skies around here. And it was coming straight for me. I scrambled down the cliff as fast as I could, but this thing covered hundreds of meters in the blink of an eye. Staying on this cliff meant zero room to dodge. I'd be a sitting duck. Deep breath. I jumped. Wind screaming past my ears. I crashed onto a massive tree below. Made it by literally 1 second. The eagle arrived at my position right after I leaped. One moment of hesitation, and those talons would have had me. I dropped to the ground, but this bird was not giving up. It came swooping down through the trees, furious, claws extended, each one bigger than my entire body. I blocked with my sword, sparks flying everywhere, then used phantom step to dodge sideways. I weaved through the trees trying to use them as cover. The eagle just sliced the trees apart with its razor-sharp feathers like they were made of paper. Every hiding spot I found lasted about 2 seconds. Mystic Pulse Finger. I fired my strongest attack at its wing, and clang. It bounced off like I'd shot a BB gun at a tank. A couple feathers drifted down. That's it. I was getting cut up. Wounds appearing on my body one after another. I couldn't outrun it. Even Phantom Step wasn't fast enough. This isn't working. Wait. The teleportation talisman, the one I looted from the least second elder. Instant transport up to 1,000 meters away. No hesitation. Treasures are meant to be used. What good is a life-saving item if you're dead? Activate. Yellow light covered my body and I vanished. The eagle stared at the empty space where its prey had just been, completely confused. Its tiny bird brain couldn't process teleportation, so it did what any angry bird would do, went on a rampage and attacked every other monster in sight. Meanwhile, I opened my eyes in a completely new location. The dense forest was gone. Nothing but open sky around me. I looked down. I was standing on top of a 100-meter-tall giant tree, towering above the rest of the forest like a lighthouse. Where the heck am I? Then I heard it. Cheep cheep cheep. I looked down and saw a massive nest just below me. Inside were 3 baby birds, mouths wide open, crying for food. They were babies, the way a Great Dane is a puppy. Each one was half my size. Wait, those sparse white feathers. Those swallow-shaped heads. No. Is this the white feather swallow eagle's nest? Are you serious right now, teleportation talisman? Who designed you? Of all the places within 1,000 meters, it sent me to the one spot guaranteed to make my situation worse. Did I use up all my luck yesterday? I started climbing down that tree immediately. SRE, that sound. That exact same sound. Mama Eagle was back, a dead monster clamped in her beak. She spotted me, the same prey that just escaped her, standing right next to her babies. She checked the nest, saw her chicks were fine, dropped the food for them, and then launched herself at me with maximum fury. I hit the ground running, phantom step at full blast, sprinting into the deep forest. But she was faster, way faster. Within seconds, she was right on top of me again. What did I do to deserve this? Why won't you leave me alone? I screamed at the sky. The eagle was right behind me, getting closer every second. I needed a plan or I was dead. Then, got it. I spotted a mountain wall up ahead and sprinted toward it at maximum phantom step speed, actually leaving afterimages behind me. That bought me a tiny gap. The eagle closed in just meters from the rock face, stretching its long neck out, that sharp beak aimed right at the back of my head. But my spiritual sense saw everything. I knew exactly when the attack was coming. Right before the beak hit me, I unleashed something new, a soul attack. A burst of spiritual force straight into the eagle's mind. Its eyes rolled white and it went limp for just 1 second, but at the speed it was flying, 1 second was all I needed. It slammed face first into the massive rock wall with a thunderous crash. I spun around, sword already swinging, and chopped its neck clean off. Finally, chase over. Phew, phew. That was way too close. I sat on the ground gasping, head spinning. The technique I'd used was something I picked up from Dan Yangzi's memories, a short-range soul impact. It wasn't really a proper martial technique, just a trick that works on targets with weaker soul power than yours. And it had to be point-blank range. First time using it, and the energy drain was brutal. Even I was dizzy afterward. But the eagle's soul was nothing compared to mine after absorbing Dan Yangzi's power. One hit of soul confusion, 1 second of lost consciousness, one very hard wall. Done. System, collect. I grabbed the monster materials and core, then checked my stats. Host, Cloud Ting. Rank, Martial Spirit 3-star, 9 out of 30. Strength, 435. Speed, 468. Skill points, 3,736. 3-star already. This forest trip was doing wonders for my growth. Only one problem. Between the ant cave, the cliff, the teleportation, and being chased by a psychotic bird, I had absolutely no idea where I was. I checked the sun's position and used tree shadows to figure out directions. White Moon City was south, Tianyang City was northeast, so I needed to head east first to get my bearings. Then I realized something that made me want to scream. I ran the wrong direction this entire time. The whole eagle chase? I'd been fleeing west, completely opposite of where I needed to go. Classic. I sighed and started walking east. Without the eagle chasing everything away, monsters started popping up constantly, slowing me down. It took me 3 times as long to get back to where the eagle's nest was. From there, I confirmed my direction and headed east again. Gradually, the monsters thinned out and second-grade beasts disappeared entirely. I was reaching the forest's outer edge. I spread my spiritual sense and started detecting human tracks. Then, wait, is that her? I spotted something through the trees and vanished like a ghost, reappearing dozens of meters ahead. I hid behind a tree and watched. About a dozen warriors had surrounded a woman wearing a black face mask. They were laughing and taunting her. Behind them, dozens more fighters were arriving to join in. Come on, little lady, just come with us and hand over your stuff. I promise I won't hurt you. A massive guy at the front called out. Easily 2 meters tall, built like a bear, fists bigger than most people's heads, face like a brick wall. Something about him felt weirdly familiar, but I couldn't place it. I'd rather die than go with you thieves. She raised her sword at them defiantly. Then the crowd parted and out strolled this guy in a white robe, fanning himself with a paper fan. Good-looking face, sure, but those narrow little eyes were crawling all over the woman like a hungry wolf sizing up a meal. Pure sleaze. Qin Li dropped the act. Nobody believes a word from the Skull mercenary group. You dare ambush me? When my father finds out, he'll destroy your entire group. The woman spat back furiously. I stayed behind my tree, watching this whole scene unfold, trying to figure out where I'd seen that big guy before. The fan-waving pretty boy was Qin Li, the young leader of the Skull mercenary group. 25 years old, 7-star warrior. Grew up in a bandit camp and picked up every bad habit you could think of. Drinking, gambling, womanizing, the whole package. His favorite hobby? Chasing beautiful women by any means necessary. Apparently, he'd been at some auction in Yongle City, spotted this woman's face, and instantly lost his mind. Then he noticed she was rich too, dropping hundreds of spirit stones on multiple auction items. Beautiful and loaded? He gathered his goons and followed her into the forest. She caught them at the entrance and killed a few, but they kept chasing her all the way here. Fine then. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Zhu Yong, she's yours. Don't kill her though. I want the money and the girl. Got it, boss. Zhichu Yong. The moment I heard that name, it clicked. Zhu Meng, the guy I killed back when I first entered Sunset Forest. He'd mentioned having a brother in the Skull mercenary group who was a squad captain. This giant must be Zhu Meng's older brother. No wonder his face looked familiar. Same ugly mug, just supersized. Zhu Yong ordered his men to charge. Dozens of mercenaries rushed the woman with swords and spears. But she was a 10-star warrior. These guys were mostly 3- and 4-star nobodies. She danced through their attacks like a fairy, swatting them away with casual waves of her hand, cutting them down without breaking a sweat. Qin Li realized she was 10-star and quietly congratulated himself for not fighting her personally. Then the wheels started turning. She mentioned her father. Doesn't matter. Grab her, have my fun for a couple days. Kill her secretly, nobody knows. Real classy guy. Useless. All these men, and you can't handle one woman? Zhu Yong. You deal with her. Zhu Yong stepped up. His massive fists came crashing toward the woman's back like thunder. She sensed it just in time, blasted away the fighters in front of her, spun around, and blocked with her sword. Clang. Her sword actually bent from the impact. She got knocked back several meters before she could stop herself. Zhu Yong stood there grinning, wearing black combat gauntlets. That's why the sword didn't cut him. 10-star warrior. Thunder fist technique. You must be Zhu Yong, first squad captain of the Skull Mercenary Group. Heh. Sharp eyes, little girl. Ready to surrender now? In your dreams. You want my stuff? Come pay with your life. These two were both 10-star, evenly matched. Zhu Yong had raw, terrifying strength with his thunder fist. But the woman was fast and agile, dodging his heavy blows and striking back with precision. They went dozens of rounds without either gaining an advantage. Qin Li was getting impatient. His strongest fighter couldn't take down one woman. Then the sleazeball got a sneaky idea. He reached into his storage bag and pulled out a small bottle of powder. Beast Capture Powder, a special drug the Skull Mercenary Group used to catch monsters. One whiff and low-level beasts lose all their strength. Even late first-grade beasts with tough bodies slowed down significantly. The ingredients were rare, so they only had a few bottles, normally saved for capturing valuable monsters. But today, Qin Li was planning to use it on a person. I watched from behind my tree, grip tightening on my sword. The woman was completely focused on fighting and had no idea Qin Li was preparing his dirty trick. He pointed at his remaining 6-star fighters. You, and you. Get in there and help. Now she had Zhu Yong plus 4 more attackers coming from every direction. She was handling it, but barely. She locked her eyes on Qin Li. Take out the leader and the rest would crumble. Smart plan. But before she could move, attacks came from all sides, and she had to block. Ha! Surprise! Qin Li saw his opening and threw the beast powder at the whole group, not even caring that his own guys were right there too. The powder spread through the air. By the time the woman realized what happened, it was too late to hold her breath. Within seconds, all 6 fighters collapsed, including Zhu Yong and the 4 6-star warriors. Even 3 guys standing nearby caught a whiff and dropped. Everyone was lying on the ground like rag dolls. You? Despicable. Scum. The woman managed to gasp out. Huh? Despicable? Oh, honey, you haven't seen Despicable yet. Just wait. I'm going to take very good care of you. Qin Li walked toward her with the most disgusting expression on his face, practically drooling. He reached down and slowly peeled off her face mask. My blood went cold. It was Qin Xiaoyu, the young lady of the Jinyuan escort agency. The woman who saved my life when I first arrived in this world, back when those bandits had me cornered. She'd only been a 7-star warrior back then. Somehow in just over a month, she'd reached 10-star. That's why I'd sensed something familiar with my spiritual sense and rushed over. She was my savior, the person I owed my life to. And this piece of garbage was standing over her talking about, playing with her for a few days. I'd been watching from the shadows, waiting. I figured a 10-star warrior could handle a bunch of low-level thugs, or at least escape. I never expected her to get drugged like this. The moment I saw what was happening, I passed the death sentence on every single one of them. Qin Li pulled out a small white bottle, the antidote for the beast powder, and was about to give it to Zhu Yong and the others. He never got the chance. A black shadow, me, shot forward like lightning and appeared behind him before anyone could react. Wham! One kick sent Qin Li flying face-first into the dirt. The antidote bottle was already in my hand. He groaned and struggled to get up, rubbing his backside. When he finally looked up and saw me standing there with the most contemptuous look on my face, he went red with rage. Who are you? How dare you sneak attack me? Who I am doesn't matter. Dead men don't need to know. Ha ha ha, big talk. You think you can back that up? Take a look in a mirror before you. You'll find out soon enough if it's just talk. I moved. With martial spirit level power, though I only used 10-star strength to keep a low profile, these mid and low-rank mercenaries were nothing. I tore through them like paper. Without Zhu Yong able to fight, there wasn't a single person on this battlefield who could last one move against me. Qin Li saw how strong I was and immediately pulled out a signal flare, shooting it into the sky. Red fireworks bloomed overhead. Just you wait, kid. Backup is coming. I didn't care. I walked over to Zhu Yong and the 4 others lying paralyzed on the ground, raised 2 fingers, Mystic Pulse Finger, and put a hole through each of their heads. 5 shots, 5 kills. Zhu Yong probably never imagined that helping his young boss kidnap one woman, something they'd done plenty of times before, would be the thing that finally got him killed. Don't kill me. Please. My dad is the leader of the Skull Mercenary Group. He's nearby. If you kill me, he'll never let you go. Qin Li was on his knees, shaking like a leaf. 5 minutes. That's all it took me to wipe out his entire squad. Every last one of them was dead except for this pathetic worm groveling at my feet. His daddy threat? Didn't care. If the Skull Mercenary Group showed up, that's just more attribute points for me. I kicked both his legs. Snap, snap. Left him screaming on the ground. Then I quietly collected all the attribute orbs, grabbed the antidote bottle, and walked over to Qin Xiaoyu. Here, take this. I popped the antidote right into her mouth. Then I went around back and snagged Zhu Yong's storage bag. Can't waste good loot. She stared at me for a few seconds, completely confused. She had no idea who I was. She'd been convinced this was the end for her, and then some random guy shows up and saves everything. She sat down cross-legged and used the antidote to push the drug out of her system. 3 minutes later, she was back on her feet. I am Qin Xiaoyu. Thank you so much for saving my life. May I know your name? She didn't recognize me at all. Fair enough. When she saved me over a month ago, I was just some powerless nobody in the dark. She never got a good look at my face. I felt a tiny sting of disappointment, but got over it quick. And I definitely wasn't going to mention the past. Explaining how I went from 0 cultivation to this level in barely a month would raise way too many questions. I'm Cloud Ting. No need for thanks, Miss Chen. I just saw something wrong and stepped in. These Skull Mercenary people are scum. I only did what anyone should do, then I'll call you Brother Cloud. Today, without you, I would have. I can never repay this debt. Please accept my bow. She gave me this deeply respectful bow. I accidentally snorted. Puffed. I quickly covered my mouth. Sorry. I just remembered a joke from my hometown. Oh? Do tell, Brother Cloud. Haha. Well, where I'm from, when a girl is saved by a man, if the guy is ugly, she says, I'll repay you by being your ox or horse. In the next life. But if the guy is handsome, what does she say if he's handsome? She walked right into it. She says, this humble maiden has no way to repay you, except to offer herself in marriage. Qin Xiaoyu's face turned red as a tomato. She spun around so fast I thought she'd get whiplash. Okay, maybe that joke doesn't work as well in a world without internet. These women are way more easily embarrassed. My bad. Ha ha. Just kidding. Anyway, Miss Chen, what do you want to do with Qin Li? HMPH. This animal. I'm killing him right now. Who knows how many other women he's done this to. Consider it a public service. She grabbed her sword and marched toward him. Please spare me. Grandma, please. Just pretend I'm a fart and let me go. I'll never do it again. Please. Qin Li was putting on the performance of his life. If his legs weren't broken, he'd be hugging her ankles and sobbing. Spare you? If Brother Cloud hadn't saved me, would you have spared me? Do I look like a 3-year-old? Your Skull Mercenary Group has done enough evil. Today I deliver justice. One thrust. Straight through his chest. Done. Qin Li stared at the blood pouring from his chest in complete disbelief. He'd always gotten away with everything because people feared his father. Not today. And honestly, I didn't care about his background either. I had no family or friends here to threaten. If someone stronger came along, worst case I'd just run. The Skull Mercenary Group wasn't even worth worrying about. Brother Cloud, we need to go? Qin Li sent that signal flare. His father could be here any minute. And he's a martial spirit level expert. Good idea. Grab Qin Li's storage bag and let's move. I didn't want to reveal my full strength in front of her, so leaving seemed smart. We turned to run, and who dares touch my Skull Mercenary Group? Not even 100 meters away. Already here. Then a grief-stricken howl. My son. Who did this? Who? Yep. Daddy Qin Ing had arrived with reinforcements. That was fast. Run, Miss Chen. Head to Yonla City and find somewhere safe to hide. I'll lead them away and meet up with you later. And oh, Brother Cloud, I can't just leave you. You saved me. Let me be the decoy. You escape. Miss Chun, trust me. I can shake them off. I value my own life, believe me. But with you here, I can't go all out. Just go. You're slowing me down. I stood there watching Chun Xiaoyu disappear into the forest like a butterfly fluttering through the trees. Once she was completely out of sight, a cold smile crept across my face. Skull Mercenary Group? Heh, I haven't even gotten around to settling MY score with you people yet. And you come knocking on MY door, see? I hadn't forgotten about Zhu Meng and his buddies who tried to rob me when I first entered the forest. Now I'd killed Zhu Meng, his brother Zhu Yong, and their precious young master. Might as well finish the job. I turned around and walked toward them. Yeah, toward the angry mob. On purpose. The Skull Mercenary Group's base was right outside Yongla City, next to the forest. Their leader Qin Ying had rushed over the moment someone reported seeing his son's signal flare. This kind of thing happened all the time. Qin Li would mess with the wrong person, Daddy would show up, flex his muscles, and everyone would back off. Not today. They were following our tracks when they saw me casually strolling in their direction. Bold move? Maybe. Smart move? Definitely. Boy, did you kill my son? Qin Ying snarled. Yep. And not just him. Zhu Meng, Zhu Yong too. All me. Your group robs and murders people for a living. You should have expected this day would come. You. I will tear you apart. He launched at me with incredible speed, eagle claw hands going straight for my throat. His signature move, eagle claw technique. Pretty fast, actually. HM. He dodged, he grabbed air, shocked. I bent backward like I was doing limbo. His claws scraped right past the tip of my nose. He lunged again. I tapped my toes and Phantom stepped away. Who are you? How does someone so young have this kind of power? After failing to land a single hit, he figured out I was at least martial spirit level. And not a weak one either. Who I am doesn't matter. And you won't need to know. Arrogant brat. He pulled out a 9-ring saber, and it was a low-grade spirit weapon. That was actually a decent piece of equipment. The power boost from a spirit-grade weapon was no joke. I drew my magic sword to match him. His attacks got way stronger with that saber, but I still outclassed him in speed, strength, body, and I could read his every move with my spiritual sense. His saber technique was honestly pretty sloppy. He was just relying on the weapon's raw power to try and overwhelm me. He swung and hacked for ages without landing a single hit. Meanwhile, he was getting exhausted. I spotted an opening, blocked his saber with my sword, twisted my wrist, and stabbed him in the side. He grabbed his wound and stumbled backward, fumbling for a healing pill. Everyone attack. He ordered his men to charge me while he started slinking toward the back. Running away, huh? Called it. Heh. Already planned for that. Formation, activate. I formed the hand seals and white light flashed. Suddenly a wall of thick fog covered everything within 100 meters. This was the star compass, Dan Yongzi's formation disc that I'd picked up from his stone room. I'd set it up in this spot before the fight even started. If the enemy was stronger than me, I could use the formation to fight them. If I was stronger, like now, I could just trap them all inside. I only activated the second-level trapping formation, and it was enough to catch every single one of them. Qin Ying was stumbling around in the fog like a headless fly, running in what he thought was a straight line, only to end up right back where he started. He had absolutely zero knowledge of formations. Trying to brute force his way out was like punching the ocean. I stood outside the formation watching this comedy show and decided to test the attack function. I formed another hand seal. The fog started churning violently, and phantom beasts began materializing out of the mist, snarling, clawing, lunging at Qin Ying from every direction. He swung his saber wildly, cutting them down one after another. But every beast he killed just dissolved and reformed from the fog a few seconds later. Fresh ones kept coming endlessly. It was like fighting an infinite respawn. He could swing that fancy saber until his arms fell off, and it wouldn't make a single difference. I leaned against a tree outside the formation, arms crossed, watching him exhaust himself. This formation disc is amazing. Best inheritance item ever. Qin Ying was getting torn apart inside the formation. Cuts everywhere, breathing hard, his swings getting weaker by the minute. I'd seen enough. The attack formation worked beautifully. Only problem? It burned through spirit stones like crazy. That short little demonstration cost me 100 spirit stones. If I used the third-level formation, I'd go bankrupt. Rich people problems, I guess. I shut off the attack formation. The phantom beasts vanished. Qining thought he could finally catch his breath. Nope. I flickered behind him and drove a mystic pulse finger straight through his back and out his chest. He didn't even see it coming. One mouthful of blood, and he was face down in the dirt. Those who kill will be killed. That's just how it goes. I cleaned up the remaining few dozen mercenaries trapped in the formation. Easy work. By the time the fog cleared, there were nothing but corpses on the ground. And I was already long gone. Half an hour later, night had fully fallen. I was perched on a boulder on a hilltop, dressed head to toe in black, staring down at the Skull Mercenary Group's main base. Their headquarters was right outside Yongle City, built into the mountainside. Tonight, I was cleaning house, every last one of them, and collecting a mountain of experience points while I was at it. The front gate had 2 guards and some dim lanterns. Patrols moved through the shadows on the mountain paths. Think the boss will be back soon? Wonder who the young master pissed off this time. Must be nice being born into the right family. I couldn't find another way up the mountain, so front door it is. Crack, crack. 2 broken necks before either guard knew I existed. In the darkness, Phantom Step was basically an invisibility cloak. I slipped through the gate like a shadow. My spiritual sense mapped out every hidden lookout, every patrol route. I pulled out a small dagger and started working. One sentry after another, silently eliminated. I was basically a horror movie villain at this point. I found the sleeping quarters. Most of the mercenaries were in the main hall drinking and eating. Only a handful were asleep in their rooms. They never woke up. 9 rooms. 9 silent kills. Then on room number 9, someone stumbled out of their room needing to use the bathroom. As he passed through the sleeping area, his nose caught something. Blood. Just the faintest whiff. But these were hardened killers who lived and breathed violence. Their noses were trained for this. His face went dark. He sprinted for the exit, screaming in alarm. Seconds later, the warning bell erupted across the entire mountain like thunder. Within moments, the sleeping area was packed with armed mercenaries pouring in from every direction. Hundreds of them, weapons drawn, murder in their eyes. A plain-looking man stepped forward from the crowd, Vice Leader Zhao Yao, the second in command. 1-star martial spirit. Behind him stood 3rd Captain Qi Bing, an 8-star warrior. These 2 were the strongest people left on the mountain. Search everything, Zhao Yao ordered. No point hiding anymore. I pushed open the door and walked out casually. Who are you? You dare come to the Skull Mercenary Group and commit murder? You must have a death wish. Zhao Yao relaxed when he saw it was just some young guy. He'd been worried it was some powerful elder coming for revenge. A kid? Nothing to stress over. Guess I still need more practice. I muttered to myself, not answering his question, just disappointed that my stealth assassination run got busted after only 9 rooms. Amateur hour. I put away my dagger and pulled out the 9-ring saber I'd taken from Qining. Then I looked around at the crowd of mercenaries with the coldest eyes I could manage, and charged in like a wolf among sheep. That's our leader's weapon. How do you have it? Zhao Yao's voice cracked. Every warrior knows. If someone else is holding your weapon, you're probably already dead. I cut the nearest mercenary clean in half at the waist, looked back over my shoulder, and said, "How do you think I got it? I killed him and took it." Impossible. Impossible. Zhao Yao was screaming, but it was obvious he was just trying to hide his own panic. If I really killed Qining, then he didn't stand a chance either. And while he stood there having his little mental breakdown, I'd already dropped dozens of his guys. 3rd Captain Qi Bing, 2 swings. That's all he was worth. Zhao Yao knew he couldn't run. Not yet anyway. His only play was to drown me in bodies and hope I'd get tired. 200 mercenaries still left on the mountain. All at once, maybe they'd have a shot? Charge. Everyone charge. Anyone who takes 1 step back, I'll kill you myself. He was screaming so hard his veins were popping. Everyone's faces went white. They just watched me butcher their friends like it was nothing. Half of them were already thinking about running. Then Zhao Yao proved he was serious. He appeared behind one guy who was sneaking backward and stabbed him through the heart from behind. See that? That's what happens to cowards. Now move. With death in front of them and behind them, they charged. Here's the thing though. Against any other 3-star martial spirit, 200 fighters might actually work. Tire them out through sheer numbers. Solid strategy. Too bad for them. I had the tyrant body technique giving me basically unlimited stamina. And my system was absorbing attribute orbs from every kill in real time. I was literally getting stronger the more people I fought. I charged into the crowd with my spirit-grade saber, cutting through weapons and bodies like paper. Their swords and spears bounced off my skin, leaving barely a scratch. Meanwhile, one swing from me split people clean in half. Zhao Yao watched from the back and started edging toward the exit. As long as the mountain stands, there's always firewood, he muttered, turning to run. My spiritual sense had been locked on him the entire time. Running? Not happening. I stomped the ground hard, sending a shockwave of spiritual energy that blasted everyone around me into the air. A broken sword bounced up from the ground. I smacked it with the flat of my saber and sent it rocketing straight at Zhao Yao like a missile. He felt the danger coming, spun around, and blocked with his short sword. The impact knocked him back 2 steps, and by then, I was already in his face using Phantom Step. One massive overhead slashed straight at his head. He threw up his short sword to block, but it barely lasted a second. My saber tore open a huge gash across his chest. Blood sprayed everywhere. In pure panic, he grabbed a nearby mercenary and threw the poor guy at me as a human shield. I just kicked the flying body right back at him. Thud! The guy slammed into Zhao Yao like a cannonball, and they both went tumbling through the dirt. Please spare me. Mercy. I beg you. The saber came down before he finished the sentence. After that, the remaining mercenaries completely broke. No more fighting spirit, no more courage. Just pure animal terror. They scattered in every direction, some tripping over themselves, crawling on all fours, scrambling away like their lives depended on it, which they did. System, collect attribute points. I picked up the saber and kept going. Within minutes, the entire mountaintop smelled like iron. Bodies in the rooms, in the hallways, everywhere. I checked my stats. Host, Cloud Ting. Rank, Martial Spirit 3-star, 26 to 30. Strength, 511. Speed, 534. Skill points, 4,983. A few more Martial Spirit level kills, and I'll break through to 4-star. I swept through the entire base like a swarm of locusts. Zhao Yao's storage bag, Qi Bing's storage bag, every dropped weapon, every piece of equipment with any value. All of it went into my storage ring. Last stop, the treasury. Most of the real wealth had been on Qin Ying's body, which I'd already looted. But the vault still had 2 whole crates of spirit stones, plus over a dozen crates of low-grade herbs and monster materials. I took everything, even the gold and silver jewelry that was basically useless to me as a cultivator. Hey, money is money. One final sweep to make sure I didn't miss anything, and then I vanished into the night. The Skull Mercenary Group was officially erased from existence. Yongle City was bustling and lively, people everywhere. I walked through the crowded streets looking like a mess. After a full day of fighting, my clothes had been soaked in other people's blood. I'd changed into clean ones outside the city, but the smell of iron was still stuck in my nose. First priority, find an inn, take a bath, and eat something that wasn't monster meat. I spotted a fancy-looking place called the Lucky Fortune Inn. Looked nice enough. Welcome, sir. Staying or just dining? Best room you've got. Hot bath. Full table of food. Right away, sir. That bath was heavenly. I sank into the hot water and felt every aching muscle in my body just melt. After a full day of massacring an entire mercenary group, a man deserves a soak. By the time I got out, the food was already set up. The service here was leagues beyond anything in White Moon City. I actually felt like a VIP for once. How far is it from here to Tianyang City? I asked the waiter between mouthfuls. Are you going to the Genius Tournament too, sir? How'd you guess? Lots of young warriors have been passing through lately on their way there. Someone your age traveling alone. Definitely a contestant. He told me it was 3 to 4 days east to Yuling City by the normal road, or 2 days through the forest. I asked about a map, but the waiter just laughed. I'm a waiter, sir, not a cartographer. But the treasure pavilion in town should have one. I flipped him a gold ingot as a tip. His eyes practically popped out of his head. Thank you, SIR. After eating my fill, I finally sat down and counted my loot from today. From Qin Ying alone, 1 low-grade spirit weapon saber, 2 top-grade magic swords, over 4,000 spirit stones, plus pills, herbs, minerals, and talismans. Add in Zhao Yao's and Qi Bing's storage bags, plus everything from the treasury, crates of spirit stones, dozens of crates of herbs and monster materials. Total value? Roughly 10,000 spirit stones. All mine now. I couldn't stop grinning. I organized everything neatly in my storage ring, then pulled out my alchemy furnace. Now that I was at martial spirit level, those beginner chi gathering pills were completely useless. But I had tons of fresh herbs, enough to make second-grade spirit recovery pills and second-grade greater spirit pills. Spirit recovery pills restores spiritual energy for martial spirit warriors. One pill and a 3-star martial spirit gets most of their power back. Greater spirit pills boost cultivation. One pill equals 10 days of training. I already knew both recipes from Danyang Zi's memories. This was my first time making second-grade pills, though. My alchemy level was maxed at first grade, so second-grade lower-rank pills should be fine. But I still prepared carefully. Departing fire technique, I summoned Red Flame, and using Medicine King Valley's fire control methods from Danyang Zi's memories, I shaped the flame around the furnace like a living thing. Dragon shapes, flower blooms, perfectly even heating. This fire control technique is incredible. I fed the herbs in one by one, watching them melt in the heat. Eyes closed, I replayed every tip and trick from Danyang Zi's knowledge over and over. Then the secret ingredient. Last step, spirit milk. I opened the lid and added one tiny drop. Condense. A rich medicinal fragrance filled the entire room. Congratulations, host. You are now a level 2 alchemist. The system chimed in before I even opened the furnace. Already knew I'd succeeded. 4 smooth, perfectly round pills sat inside, each one glowing with faint white light. Can't reach maximum yield on my own skill yet. Full output would be more pills per batch, but 4 on my first try? That was actually really good. I stored 3 and popped one into my mouth. It dissolved instantly, and a tsunami of spiritual energy flooded my entire body. Every meridian, every cell, completely topped off. All the energy I'd burned through today, restored in 1 second. This is what spirit milk does to a pill. I was stunned. The standard recipe didn't call for spirit milk, but Danyang Zi's memories said it could enhance any pill's potency. So I'd added 1 drop as a test. The result was insane. This enhanced version could fully restore a 5 or even 6-star martial spirit's entire energy reserve instantly. And my body was way tougher than a normal 3 stars. Yet I felt like spiritual energy was about to overflow out of me. 1 drop of spirit milk. That's all it took to turn a regular pill into something absolutely broken. I looked at my remaining 25 bottles of spirit milk and smiled. This was going to be fun. System, upgrade level 2 alchemist. I thought about it and decided to spend 1,500 skill points to max out my second-grade alchemy immediately. The math was simple. A maxed-out alchemist produces 9 pills per batch instead of 4 or 5. That's almost double. Each spirit recovery pill was worth at least 300 spirit stones, so losing 4 pills per batch meant throwing away 1,200 spirit stones every time. And my enhanced versions with spirit milk were worth even more. Yeah, that 1,500 skill points would pay for itself real fast. I spent the entire night making pills, and honestly, I was having the time of my life. Didn't even notice morning had arrived until the waiter knocked with breakfast. Final count. 5 batches of enhanced spirit recovery pills, 39 total. 3 batches of enhanced greater spirit pills, 27 total. Beautiful. I'd wanted to make the meridian restoration pill for Sun Chong too, since I had spirit milk now, but I was still missing 1 ingredient. Exquisite stone bamboo shoot. Maybe I could find it at the treasure pavilion today while buying a map. If I could make that pill before the tournament, I'd be free to use my top 3 prize pick on something for myself instead. I wolfed down breakfast and headed out. Following the waiter's directions, I found the place quickly. An enormous, gorgeous building with Treasure Pavilion written on a massive sign above the entrance. The moment I stepped inside, I noticed the spiritual energy was way denser than outside. They had a spirit gathering formation covering the whole building. Fancy. Welcome, sir. How can I help you? A sweet voice. A pretty woman in a cheap house-style outfit walked over with a warm smile. Her name was Zhang Yin, a sales attendant. I scanned her with my spiritual sense. A 4-star warrior working as a shopkeeper? This treasure pavilion was no joke. Just call me Xiao Zhang. Do you sell maps of the area around Sunset Forest? Going to the Genius Tournament, sir? We don't have large-scale forest maps, but we do have local maps including routes to Tianyang City. I'll take 1. Also, do you have second-grade spiritual herbs? Her eyes lit up. Second-grade herbs meant big sales, which meant big commissions. Yes, sir. Please follow me. She led me upstairs. That's when I noticed the formations weren't just around the display counters. They covered the entire building. Walls, floors, everything. All first-grade defensive formations, but still impressive. And this was just a branch store. We reached the herb section, and I started shopping. Those 5 fish scale grasses, I'll take them. 10 jade dragon fruits, I'll take them. That blood jade flower, taking it. I kept walking, pointing at things, not even asking prices. Zhang Yin was scribbling frantically on her list, her eyes getting wider with every item. I could practically see the commission calculations running through her head. After a full loop, I still hadn't found what I really needed. Do you have exquisite stone bamboo shoot? Her face fell. I'm sorry, sir. That's quite rare. We had one, but it was auctioned off just yesterday. Do you know who bought it? I'm sorry, we can't disclose buyer information. And I personally don't know who won the auction. That's a shame. I sighed. We could request a transfer from one of our other branches, or you could try the Treasure Pavilion in the prefecture capital or the Imperial City. They'd likely have it. Transfer would take too long. I'll look when I get to Tianyang City. Of course. Anything else you need? Show me your crafting materials section. I need supplies for weapon forging. Danyang Zi's memories included expertise in alchemy, weapon crafting, and formation building. I'd only learned alchemy so far. Might as well start picking up the other two. More skills never hurts, right? Zhang Yin led me to the materials area without a word, though I could tell she was quietly wondering if I could actually pay for all this. The herbs alone came to nearly 2,000 spirit stones, enough to buy a small family's entire fortune. She didn't ask, though. Smart girl. Just kept smiling and writing things down. I spent another 10 minutes grabbing crafting materials, then headed to the reception area to settle up. Here's your map, sir. Zhang Yin handed it over. Great. Calculate everything I owe, and also, send your manager down, please. She parked me in the VIP area with tea, then scurried upstairs. A few minutes later, she came back with the manager, an ordinary-looking middle-aged guy you'd forget the moment you looked away from him. But my spiritual sense told me this plain-faced nobody was a 3-star martial spirit. This treasure pavilion was seriously stacked. What distinguished young master honors our humble shop today? Ha ha. He bowed with a big smile, eyeing me up and down, trying to figure out my background. All he could read was that I was a young 10-star warrior, because that's exactly what I let him see. I'm Cloud Ting. You must be the manager, Ludit Sai, at your service. What can I do for you? I pulled out a storage bag and handed it over. You buy pills and materials, right? Price everything in here and subtract what I owe for my purchases. He sent his spiritual sense into the bag, and his eyes went wide. 100 cubic meters crammed full of monster materials, frenzy ant parts, 3-tailed scorpion pieces, pills, low-grade weapons, talismans. All stuff I'd been collecting that was basically useless to me now. Xiaozhong, take young Master Cloud to the VIP lounge. And bring out my private tea collection. Oh, now I get the good tea. Money talks, I guess. He was fast. I'd barely finished 1 cup when he came back grinning even wider than before. Your materials total 3,413 spirit stones. Your purchases total 2,652 spirit stones. Since this is your first major transaction with us, I'll round down to 2,600. Net balance. 813 spirit stones, already in the bag. He handed me the bag plus a fancy silver card with the character 4, treasure, on it. This is our silver crystal card. 5% discount on all future purchases at any Treasure Pavilion location. Much appreciated, Manager Liu. I pocketed the card and walked out. With the map in hand, I could finally continue through Sunset Forest toward Tianyang City. But I'd barely left the pavilion when I noticed something. 2 people were following me. At first, they'd stayed far enough back to be outside my spiritual sense range, so I didn't catch them right away. But as we got closer to the forest entrance, they got sloppy, didn't even bother hiding anymore. Showed too much money in public. Careless, I scolded myself. Buying thousands of spirit stones worth of goods out in the open? Of course someone noticed. I'd gotten cocky after powering up. Needed to be more careful. Lucky for me, these 2 weren't exactly top-tier threats. Both 1-star martial spirit. Hope you don't regret this. I sped up and entered the forest. Ran a short distance, then stopped and waited. Bro, I think the kid noticed us. Come on, let's see what he's up to. 2 guys in gray robes appeared. One with a massive axe, the other with a long saber. both grinning like I was a sheep waiting to be slaughtered. Gentlemen, you've been following me for a while. What do you want? Kid, not bad that you spotted us. You've got some skills, said the big one with the axe. Hey, we're a little short on cash lately. You look well dressed. How about you lend us some spirit stones? Oh, you need to borrow something? Sure, no problem. But I'd like to borrow something from you too as well. Huh? Bro, this is hilarious. Nobody's ever tried to borrow from US before. What could you possibly want? Your heads. Dead silence. What? Kid, do you have any idea who we are? We're the Luo brothers. Everyone around here knows our name. And you dare play games with US? Bro, let me chop this punk in half. The saber guy lost it and charged straight at me, blade raised high. I just stood there with my arms crossed, waiting for him to get close enough. This was going to take about 3 seconds. I dodged the saber guy's attack with phantom step like it was nothing. Fast little kid. But you're just a 10-star warrior. Kneel down, hand over everything, and maybe we'll let you live. You think I'm stupid? You want me to kneel so you can chop my head off while I'm down? Please. I've seen this trick before. These idiots thought they were the wolves, and I was the sheep. Reality check. I was a wolf wearing a sheep costume. I pulled out my spirit-grade saber and charged at the younger brother, deliberately using only 10-star power and my weakest technique, the basic Mad Blade slash. The whole point was to look weak. When I fight, I leave no survivors, so nobody can report my real strength. He's got a spirit weapon too? What a fat sheep. Ha ha ha. After today, all of this is OURS. The younger brother was already dreaming about spending my money. He lazily raised his saber to block and reached his other hand toward my neck. But the older brother saw through it. Little brother, watch out. Too late. My slash was a feint. The moment the younger brother dropped his guard, I exploded with 3-star martial spirit power and slammed my palm into his chest. He flew backward like a rag doll, crashed through several trees, rolled across the ground, and coughed up blood. Done. You were hiding your strength. The older brother's face went white. He gripped his axe with trembling hands. Your turn. Phantom step. After images trailing behind me, and I was in his face before he could blink. One massive overhead slash with the tyrant body's power behind it. His axe? Just an upper-grade common weapon. It snapped in half like a twig. My blade continued straight down through him from head to, well, all the way down. The cut was so fast and clean he didn't even die immediately. He managed one word before his body split in two and fell apart. A lion uses full strength even to catch a rabbit. Basic stuff. I shook my head at his corpse, then finished off the younger brother too. System, collect, host, Cloud Ting. Rank, Martial Spirit 4-star, 3/40. Strength, 566. Speed, 593. Skill points, 4,037. 4-star. These two pushed me right over the edge. I grabbed their storage bags, burned the bodies with red flame, and kept moving. Soon I passed yesterday's battle site, where I'd saved Chen Xiaoyu. The corpses were completely gone. Some monster had made a meal of them. Only scraps of clothing remained. I pulled out my new map and was figuring out my route when my spiritual sense picked up a familiar presence. Chen Xiaoyu. She was fighting a 4-armed demon ape, mid-first grade peak level. Nothing she couldn't handle. Sure enough, she killed it in minutes and started skillfully butchering the corpse for materials. Professional work. Nice moves. The Jinyuan escort agency trained you well, I called out casually. Who? She spun around with her sword raised, nearly jumped out of her skin. Then she saw my face. Brother Cloud, you're alive. Thank goodness. I was just about to go looking for you. Ha ha. I'm blessed with incredible luck. Takes more than a mercenary group to kill me. Then let's go before the skull mercenary people catch up. Relax. I already wiped them out. The whole group. Last night. Ha ha ha. Brother Cloud, you're so funny. Come on. Let's hurry. She grabbed my arm and started dragging me forward. I tell the truth and nobody believes me. I muttered as she pulled me along. We walked for a good while before I noticed we were heading the same direction. Miss Chen, are you going to the Genius Tournament too? Yes. And with your strength, you must be going too, right? Yep. Someone asked me to represent their city. Her face fell a little. Well, there goes my chance at winning. You're way too strong. I definitely can't beat you. Hey, believe in yourself. You're already amazing. Oh, and here. Take these. I pulled out 3 jade bottles containing body tempering pills, cultivation restoration pills, and Spirit Rush pills. These were basically useless to me now, but for a 10-star warrior trying to break through? Game-changing. She opened each bottle, and her eyes went wide. Body tempering? Cultivation restoration? Spirit Rush pills? Brother Cloud, these are way too expensive. I can't accept. She tried pushing them back. One Spirit Rush pill alone cost around 200 Spirit Stones. Many tournament contestants were competing specifically to win those pills. And I was just handing them out like candy. Keep them. I've got plenty more. And between you and me, I leaned in with a grin. I'm a level 2 alchemist. I can make these myself. A level 2 alchemist? Brother Cloud, you're a level 2 alchemist? Qin Xiaoyu looked like her brain was short-circuiting. Can't blame her. Even a level 1 alchemist was treated like royalty. In the entire Tianyang prefecture, you could probably count the level 2 alchemists on one hand. And here I was, barely into my 20s. Of course, she probably assumed I could only make basic second-grade pills. If she knew I was making spirit milk enhanced versions. Well, let's keep some secrets. So you see, I really don't need these pills. Take them. Start with the body tempering and cultivation restoration pills to build a solid foundation. Once you've absorbed those, take the Spirit Rush pills. Breaking through to martial spirit should be smooth after that. I'd noticed her weaknesses yesterday, watching her fight Zhu Yong. Her power was lacking, and she'd advanced too quickly, leaving her cultivation a bit shaky. That's why she struggled so hard against a brute force fighter. The pills I gave her would fix exactly those problems. Then I won't be polite. Hee. She finally accepted with a big smile. We kept traveling together, and I let her handle most of the monsters we ran into. Good training for her. She had solid inherited techniques from the Jinyuan escort agency, mystic-grade sword style, and footwork. Against most first-grade beasts, she was fine. But then we ran into an earth savage bear. That thing's body was like a tank. Her elegant sword techniques just bounced off its hide. Even her combat talismans barely slowed it down. I stepped in, activated Tyrant Body, went toe-to-toe with the bear using pure physical strength, punched it around until it couldn't stand, then finished it with Mystic Pulse Finger. See what I mean about your power? Your sword style is graceful and tricky, perfect against human fighters, since most warriors have weak spots like their throat and eyes. But against a beast with armor-plated skin, your attacks do nothing. You need to either train a body-refining technique to widen your meridians and hold more energy, or really polish your cultivation to boost both the quality and quantity of your spiritual power. I understand, Brother Cloud. I'll train harder. She nodded eagerly. As the day went on, I had to step in less and less. Unless it was a second-grade beast, she could handle it. Not always winning clean, but her improvement was visible in real time. Her talent and instincts were genuinely impressive. If I didn't have my cheat code system, who knows if I'd even be at her level right now. When night fell, we found a hidden cave to camp in. I got a fire going and started preparing dinner. Today's menu? One massive bear paw from the Earth Savage Bear, seasoned with spices and slowly roasted over the flames. Plus several fat spirit fish I'd caught from a stream we passed earlier. You know what they say? You can't have your fish and your bear paw at the same time. Well, look at this. We've got both tonight. Ha 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 ha. Grumble grumble. Qin Xiaoyu's stomach betrayed her. She'd been fighting all day and was starving. Smells amazing. Brother Cloud, is it ready yet? She was sitting right next to the fire, staring at the sizzling paw with laser focus. Hot oil was dripping off the meat, filling the cave with the most incredible aroma. Almost. Patience. You can't eat hot tofu in a rush. I pulled out a jade bottle filled with honey from a killer bee monster weed encountered earlier. I'd torched the whole hive with red flame, and weed looted every drop. I sliced the bear paw into chunks, arranged them on a big plate, and drizzled the entire bottle of honey over everything. Meat smell plus honey smell equals heaven. Dig I in. The words barely left my mouth before she grabbed a chunk and started devouring it. MMPH, show good. Showed GHOOD. She was talking with her mouth completely stuffed, cheeks puffed out like a hamster. Total foodie energy. Ha! Slow down, Miss Chun. Nobody's fighting you for it. I can always roast more. I grabbed a piece myself, and wow. Golden crispy outside, tender juicy inside, honey caramelizing on the surface. No wonder bears on Earth became endangered species. This is incredible, but here's the surprising thing. I could actually feel my physical body getting slightly stronger from eating this. The bear's flesh was so rich with energy that even at my level, there was a noticeable boost. How come regular monster meat didn't do this? Must be because the Earth's savage bear's body was so incredibly powerful. Whatever. Eat now, think later. With my enhanced body and higher cultivation, I ate most of the bear paw and several fish before my stomach was even slightly full. Chun Xiaoyu managed 2 chunks and 1 fish before she was completely stuffed. She immediately sat down cross-legged to cultivate and burn off all that energy. Monster meat was great for strengthening a warrior's body. If Chun Xiaoyu kept eating like this, her constitution would improve over time. She was deep in meditation, so I didn't bother her. Just quietly polished off all the remaining bear paw and fish by myself. Burp, I stretched and stood up. She wasn't waking up anytime soon, so perfect time to learn something new. I walked to the cave entrance, pulled out a pile of low-grade crafting materials from my storage ring, and sat down cross-legged. Tonight's project, formation building. I dove into Dan Yongzi's memories, replaying every formation-related scene like a movie marathon. First came material selection. Every type of metal and stone had different properties and reactions when combined. Then came the critical part, carving formation runes. Runes are what connect a formation to the natural energy of heaven and earth. They channel and shape that power into something usable. Each line has to be perfect. One tiny mistake, and the whole thing falls apart. Finally, after the runes are carved, you inject spiritual energy to link everything together and bring the formation to life. I watched these memories several times over, spending nearly an hour digesting everything. Each replay gave me deeper understanding. Time to try it for real. I grabbed some mithril, refined it slightly with red flame, and started carving my first rune. Hands steady, spiritual energy flowing. First rune, perfect. Second rune. I paused for just a fraction of a second. My energy wavered, and the natural forces instantly destroyed the rune. Gone. Okay, don't stop. Got it. Second attempt. I grabbed fresh mithril and carved all 10 runes in one continuous flow without stopping. Phew. Even just 10 simple runes took serious concentration. But the hard part was done. The final step, injecting spiritual energy, was straightforward. One burst, and the formation lit up. I just made a cleaning formation, the most basic one there is. I tested it on myself, activated it, and watched as every speck of dust vanished from my clothes and shoes instantly. Congratulations, host. You are now a level 1 formation master. The system showed 1% mastery. Total beginner. System, use skill points. 300 points and boom. Maxed out at 100%. For my current skill point reserves, 300 was pocket change. Now I was cooking. I grabbed a piece of refined iron and started carving a concealment formation. Way more complex, dozens of runes required. But with maxed out mastery, every single rune flowed effortlessly, like I'd been doing this my whole life. I placed the finished formation at the cave entrance and activated it. Walked outside, turned around, and the cave was gone. Just a blank rock wall. Unless you had incredibly powerful soul sense, or were a formation expert yourself, you'd walk right past this place and never know it existed. Beautiful. Then I went back and carved a defensive formation too. Layered it right on top of the concealment one. Double protection. Tonight we could sleep worry-free. I was standing there admiring my work when, Kaya! A shriek from inside the cave nearly gave me a heart attack. That was Chun Xiaoyu. I activated Phantom Step and sprinted toward her. She saw me appear and screamed again, then slapped both hands over her face and spun around. Miss Chun, what happened? Are you okay? Why are you covering your face? I grabbed her shoulder trying to check if she was hurt. Brother Cloud, don't touch me. Go away. Then I noticed it. Black gunk all over her body and face. The smell hit me next. Oh. She'd taken the body-tempering pill while meditating. The pill triggered a meridian cleansing, pushing all the impurities out through her skin. I'd gone through the same thing myself back when I first used those pills. For a young woman to suddenly be covered in stinking black slime and have a guy see her like that? Yeah, mortifying. I scratched my nose awkwardly. Right. Sorry about that. From around the corner came the rustling sounds of clothes being changed. My spiritual sense twitched instinctively. I almost extended it before catching myself at the last possible millisecond. Nope. Control yourself, Cloud Ting. Be a gentleman. I walked silently back toward the cave entrance. She thought I was just a 10-star warrior with no spiritual sense. If she knew I actually could see through walls, she definitely wouldn't be changing clothes 20 meters away around a corner. A few minutes later, she emerged freshly cleaned. She'd used a water talisman to wash up and changed into new clothes. Her face was still slightly pink from embarrassment. I pretended absolutely nothing had happened. Some things are better left unacknowledged. I gotta say, the body tempering pills I made were really effective. Chen Xiaoyu's skin became smoother. All her old scars vanished, and her strength noticeably increased. Quality craftsmanship, if I do say so myself. She peeked around the corner first to check where I was, saw me standing at the cave entrance with my back turned, and finally gathered the courage to come out. Brother Cloud, I'm done. You can turn around now. I turned, and my brain stopped working. Her hair was still wet, water droplets clinging like tiny jewels. After the meridian cleansing, her already pretty skin had become impossibly smooth and radiant, like polished jade. Her face had this soft pink glow, like fresh peach blossoms. I just stood there staring, completely frozen, like someone hit the pause button on my brain. Brother Cloud? Nothing. Brother Cloud. Huh? What? Yes. I'm here. Totally normal. Just appreciating the scenery. The cave scenery. Very nice cave. Smooth recovery there, Cloud Ting. Real smooth. Thankfully, she didn't read too much into it. I quickly changed the subject to the pill effects, explained the cleansing process so she wouldn't freak out next time, and then stood guard while she took the cultivation restoration pill. 2 days later, we were standing outside the gates of Tianyang City. And wow, this place made White Moon City look like a village. The walls were dozens of meters high, built from massive green stone blocks. Tianyang was carved above the gate in bold, powerful characters. Soldiers with long spears patrolled the walls, flags snapping in the wind. Inside, I could see towers and buildings stretching as far as the eye could see. Streets crisscrossing everywhere, crowds flowing like rivers, merchants shouting, people laughing. Beyond the city, mountains rolled across the horizon, and a crystal-clear river wrapped around the walls like a silver ribbon. This was a prefecture capital, a real city. We finally made it. Let's go, Brother Cloud. Chen Xiaoyu tugged my sleeve excitedly. We followed a merchant caravan through the gate, and immediately got stopped by the guards. Entry fee, 1 spirit stone per person. Valid for 10 days. 1 spirit stone just to walk through a door? Before I could complain, Chen Xiaoyu had already handed over 2 stones. Here are your entry tokens. After 10 days, pay again to stay. If you're caught without a valid token, best case, you pay a fine. Worst case, you're executed on the spot. Understood? Understood. Chen Xiaoyu smiled sweetly. This is literally highway robbery, I muttered as we walked in. With this foot traffic, they're collecting thousands of spirit stones per day just in entry fees. Of course, the prefecture lord also had thousands of elite warriors on payroll, plus a 20,000-strong army outside the city. That kind of military costs astronomical amounts to maintain. Still felt like a scam, though. Come on, Brother Cloud. It's just 2 spirit stones. Let's go. She dragged me forward before I could rant anymore. I examined the entry token while walking. Plain iron, nothing special, but it had a tiny formation embedded in it. My spiritual sense cracked it open in seconds. 2 simple formations, a timer set to 10 days, and a sensor linked to the massive second-grade peak formation surrounding the entire city. When the timer ran out, the sensor went dead, and guards with special detection tools would know immediately. Pretty clever system, actually. But now that I understood exactly how it worked, resetting the timer was child's play. Just channel spiritual energy along the right pathway when the 10 days were up. Free unlimited city access. Forever. Not that I'd abuse this knowledge. Probably. Maybe. We'll see. Tianyang City was packed. With the Genius Tournament coming up, contestants from every city had already arrived, plus tons of spectators still pouring in. Since I'd taken the forest shortcut, I got here before the White Moon City group. So Chen Xiaoyu and I decided to explore the city and check out the tournament situation. Tianyang City was basically White Moon City on steroids. Same layout, same style, just everything bigger and better. Shopping streets, market districts, restaurants, gambling houses, all top-notch. They even had special cultivation rooms with spirit-gathering formations that boosted training speed. 10 spirit stones per hour for a basic first-grade room. Second-grade rooms were double that. This city's prices were on another level. Funny thing though, basic first-grade pills were actually cheaper here than in White Moon City. More alchemists meant more supply, so prices dropped. Basic economics. We wandered into the open-air market where vendors were hawking all sorts of goods from blankets on the ground. Come look, come look. 1 spirit stone. Can't go wrong. 100-year wild ginseng. Only 5 spirit stones. Premium barrier talismans. Cheap pills. 1 spirit stone each. Pills, herbs, talismans, weapons, everything you could imagine. My eyes were spinning, but nothing I actually needed. I was a martial spirit warrior now. All this low-grade stuff was useless to me. I picked up a few rare herbs that might work as secondary ingredients for future pill recipes, but that was it. I'd been secretly hoping to find some hidden gem. You know, the classic, stumble upon a priceless treasure at a street stall, thing that always happens in novels. Reality check. These vendors were sharp as knives. Forget finding deals. You'd be lucky if they didn't scam you. Brother Cloud, look at this. Brother Cloud, isn't this pretty? Sure. Very pretty. Chen Xiaoyu was having a blast buying trinkets. A jade hairpin that doubled as a defensive artifact, a ring, a jade pendant. The formations on them could block maybe 1 or 2 hits from a 5 or 6-star warrior. Basically useless for someone at her level. But the designs were cute, and she was happy, so who was I to judge? A few dozen spirit stones for her smile? Fine by me. Then I heard something that made my ears perk up. Old man, you want 200 spirit stones for this broken bamboo shoot? Are you dreaming? 100. Take it or leave it. No, 200. Not a stone less. I extended my spiritual sense toward the commotion and my heart jumped. Sitting on that vendor's blanket was an exquisite stone bamboo shoot. The exact ingredient I needed for Sun Chong's Meridian Restoration Pill. The one I couldn't find at the Treasure Pavilion in Yongle City. I grabbed Chen Xiaoyu and pushed through the growing crowd. The vendor was an old man, maybe a 4-star warrior. Weathered face, white hair, hunched back, wearing a black robe that had been washed so many times it was nearly gray. His little blanket had a few low-grade herbs scattered on it, with the stone bamboo shoot as the obvious centerpiece. The shoot was about a foot tall, translucent and crystalline, glowing with faint spiritual light. One corner was chipped off, but that didn't matter. The medicinal power was concentrated in the core. The young man, trying to bully the old vendor, was some rich kid in fancy clothes with a high-grade weapon at his hip, clearly used to getting whatever he wanted. Turns out the old man's son had risked his life in Sunset Forest to harvest this herb and got seriously injured doing it. The father was selling it to buy healing medicine. His son told him it was worth 200 spirit stones, actually a fair price, since they normally went for 200 to 250. Old man, don't push your luck. I'm Lu Hai from Nanning City. I never pay for things. 100 spirit stones is generous. He slammed 100 stones on the blanket and reached for the shoot. Chen Xiaoyu had seen enough. That's disgusting. Bullying an old man. What kind of man are you? She marched right up and blocked Lu Hai's hand. Oh, a pretty one. Trying to be a hero, sweetheart. He forgot all about the herb the second he saw her face. Classic sleazeball. Yeah, I'm interfering. What are you going to do about it? Try your for-sale trick when the market patrol is right there. Like magic, a patrol squad walked over, led by an 8-star warrior squad captain responsible for this section of the market. What's going on here? Who's causing trouble? SIR. This man is forcing a sale. Right there. Him. Chen Xiaoyu pointed straight at Lu Hai. Every single person in the crowd turned to stare at him. Lu Hai panicked, quickly put the bamboo shoot back on the blanket, and waved his hands frantically. No. Officer, she's lying. I was paying 100 spirit stones fair and square, 100 that the seller refused. You threw down your money and tried to grab the goods anyway. That's textbook forced purchase. And everyone here is a witness. Yeah, she's right. Shameless. The crowd was turning on him fast. Is that how it happened? The squad captain looked around at the crowd. Everyone was nodding. Pretty clear-cut case. Take him away. 2 soldiers grabbed Lu Hai's shoulders like iron clamps and dragged him off while he begged and pleaded. The crowd pointed and whispered as he disappeared down the street. Good riddance. Everyone disperse. The patrol cleared the crowd, and oh so conveniently pocketed Lu Hai's 100 spirit stones as evidence. At least they didn't confiscate the old man's herb too. Thank you so much, Young lady. The old vendor bowed to Chun Xiaoyu repeatedly. No need to thank me. I just can't stand bullies. I stepped forward and picked up the exquisite stone bamboo shoot. Checked it carefully. Chipped corner, but the core was perfectly intact. Exactly what I needed. Old sir, you're asking 200 spirit stones, right? Brother Cloud, you want this too? Yeah. Remember, I'm an alchemist. This is exactly the ingredient I've been looking for. I tried to buy one back in White Moon City, but someone snatched it at auction before I could. Qin Xiaoyu's face went through about 5 different expressions. Brother Cloud, that person who bought the one at auction. That was actually me, what? It was you this whole time? The ingredient I'd been hunting across 2 cities was literally walking next to me for the past 3 days. You can't make this stuff up. I paid the full 200 spirit stones without hesitation. The old man tried to give us a discount out of gratitude, but I pressed the storage bag into his hands and pulled Chun Xiaoyu away before he could argue. His son needed healing medicine. He needed every stone. Once we left the market, Chun Xiaoyu couldn't hold it in anymore. Brother Cloud, can you really make the Meridian Restoration Pill? She stared at me with these big, hopeful eyes. Turns out her mother had damaged her meridians trying to break through to a higher realm. Not life-threatening, but her channels ached every time she cultivated. Qin Xiaoyu had been collecting ingredients along the way, planning to hire an alchemist here in Tianyang City. Absolutely no problem. Is that why you bought the bamboo shoot? Huh? What a joke. A mocking voice came from behind us. Some flashy guy in an expensive alchemist robe strolled up, fanning himself with a folding fan, 2 servants trailing behind him. He had a purple gold badge pinned to his chest, an alchemist guild credential. The Meridian Restoration Pill is a 2nd-grade mid-rank pill. Do you have any idea how difficult that is to make? And you're standing here claiming you can do it? Miss, don't let this fraud deceive you. And who are you? We're having a private conversation. I was not in the mood. He completely ignored me. Beautiful miss, my name is Zhang Yang. I'm an alchemist with the Alchemist Guild. If you need a Meridian Restoration Pill, I can help. His eyes were glued to Qin Xiaoyu like a magnet. I don't care who you are. Our business is none of yours. Please leave. She was clearly disgusted by the way he was staring at her. She grabbed my arm and tried to walk past, but Zhang Yang stepped right in our path. Running away, are we? Caught you red-handed trying to scam this lovely lady, and now you want to escape? He pointed proudly at his badge. See this? Official Alchemist Guild Certification. Level 1 Alchemist. Where's your credential, kid? You don't even have one. And you dare claim you can make a Meridian Restoration Pill? Don't make me laugh. Then he turned back to Qin Xiaoyu with his best charming smile. My master is Wang Mingxian, the famous level 2 alchemist of Tianyang City. If I ask him, he can definitely make your pill. Wang Mingxian. Qin Xiaoyu's eyes went wide. Wang Mingxian was a huge name here, one of the top alchemists in the entire city. Only the guild president and vice president ranked above him. He'd actually been one of her top candidates for making the pill, which meant if she offended his student now. I don't have a guild credential, I said flatly. But that doesn't mean I can't make the pill. What's the problem? Oh, no credential? Then who's your master? Name them. Let's see which great master taught you. My master's name is way above your pay grade. I grabbed Qin Xiaoyu's arm to leave, but this guy kept blocking us. In Tianyang City, you couldn't fight in the streets, or I'd have already rearranged his face. Dude, are you broken in the head? Why are you so obsessed with us? I knew exactly what this was. Fellow male, fellow human. I could read him like a book. He'd spotted a pretty girl, wanted to impress her, and was using me as the stepping stone to make himself look good. Classic white knight with ulterior motives move. I simply don't want this beautiful lady to be deceived by a fraud. Qin Xiaoyu had had enough. Zhang Yang, our affairs are none of your concern. I trust Brother Cloud's abilities completely. Now stop following us. She yanked my arm, and we power walked away from that clown. Annoying? Yes, but at least I now had both bamboo shoots, mine and hers. 2 chances to make the Meridian Restoration Pill. Things were looking good.